So gather with friends as you sit down to eat, grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. Thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, though, man. But I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Monday, November 11, 2024. Today is the day in which we observe Veterans Day, Armistice Day, if you want to be formal and proper. And let me give a special thanks to all of those who have and are currently serving. We appreciate your sacrifice. In 2021, I had this very distinct honor, pleasure, and privilege of serving as a guardian on the Stars and Stripes honor flight. And if you are unfamiliar with that, the Stars and Stripes honor flight is a nonprofit organization that raises money to take U.S. veterans to Washington, D.C., and they get to tour the city and tour all of the memorials dedicated to their service. I was with Sergeant Clarence Williams, a Vietnam War veteran who had never been to Washington, D.C. in his life. And it was a monumental experience for him, but also for me, because he got to see all the things dedicated to him and to his service, and everyone was so wonderful, and everywhere we went, everyone was thanking him profusely for his service, and it was just one heck of an opportunity to be able to spend time with someone who fought in that foreign campaign. So thank you to all of our veterans and all of those who might be considering going into the service. On a couple of occasions in the past, when we were going through different suggestions of what we can offer African-American men as far as careers and vocations and just different kind of professional trajectories. And I mentioned the military. This was many years ago that I mentioned this. And I went through the list of, opportunities and benefits. You get an education, you become specialized, right? You get to serve your country. That's a privilege in itself, right? And all the other things that go along with serving. Of course, during peacetime, if you serve during wartime, well, that situation is clearly different. But you get to travel the world. You get to meet people. You have different experiences. You test your mettle, if you're a member of the U.S. military. And so I'm explaining all of the different benefits, if you want to call them that, of being a member of the service. And then we open up the phone lines, and the number of people that said, like, they would never recommend their child go into the service, and the horrible, horrible things that I heard people say about the prospect or the possibility of their black boys. We weren't talking about girls, because for some reason we don't consider them when we are offering up military service as a possible career opportunity. We were talking about boys. And I think something had happened that week or that month that I brought up military service, because we were looking at just like a bunch of unemployed black men that don't really have a lot of hope. They don't really have a lot of future. And we want them to have both hope and a future. And so we were just throwing around ideas. And of course, we're talking about the military. But I was blown away by the number of people that would never recommend their male black child go into the military because America's terrible, America is racist. But I really think there was something that happened. Maybe it was like an officer-involved shooting or something that happened that week to where we were trying to find positive outlooks for black men and black boys, because we know if black men and black boys do not have positive outlooks and outcomes, and if they're not being invested in, well, they potentially could be an issue for all of us, right? But, oh, my God, the number of people that said that they would never. And so that was like an hour's worth of calls that I took. And then the next hour were black veterans whose feelings were really, really hurt. And then when we heard those black veterans, because they listened to the whole first hour of people saying they would never ask their son or tell their son or recommend their son serve their country in the military. When the black vets called in and talked about the experiences that they had, the people that they met, the places in which they traveled, the jobs in which they were first in line for, and the illustrious careers that they had only because they served in the U.S. military. So I found that very ironic. Every now and again, you have a topic that strikes a chord where you didn't think that it would. But there was like an emotional reaction to black men and black boys serving in the military, because that means that you are defending all of the horrible things that America is. And we're going to talk about some of the horrible things that America is today. But why not look at it from a different perspective? Maybe it's to realize how wonderful this nation can actually be, and that we do have principles that are worth fighting for. Now, I know that our involvement in foreign wars has been anything but principled, it seems, in the last however many decades. But it's not always doom and gloom. There's a Sikh poem. The Sikh. They're a culture, a religion. I had the opportunity to become friends with a guy named Amardeep Kalika, whose uncle was shot and killed in the 2012 Sikh temple shooting. In fact, in 2012, my colleague at WTMJ, Mr. Steve Scafidi, who I get to talk to every single morning, we share ideas and share notes and share radio show topics. Steve Scafidi was the mayor of Oak Creek at the time of the Sikh temple shooting, and of course it was a white supremacist who was afraid of these people coming in his neighborhood, and even they had a church and they were worshiping, and for some reason that was a threat to this Caucasian fellow who is a murderer whose name also escapes me. I think we also had a problem with that because he was a mass shooter that killed innocent people in that Sikh temple in Oak Creek in 2012, and the police took him alive. And I remember when we were talking about that on the air, people questioned, why did the police take him alive? They would kill a black man if it was a similar situation. And I'm not here to argue nor debate or dispute that. But don't we want these subjects taken alive so that they can be brought to justice and they can face justice for what they have done? However, I digress. So a part of this Sikh prayer that I learned about in 2012, nothing but I think Sikh actually means peace. They're very peaceful people. They wear the turbans. They have the beards. Some have big beards. Some have small beards. Some have no beards at all. And in a moment of bleakness for their community, because they don't mess with anybody, they also were subjected to a tremendous amount of cruelty post 9/11 because Americans are so stupid. We can't tell a Muslim from a Sikh, even though I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's actually Sikh. But when I say Sikh, people won't necessarily equate that to the religion, so I say Sikh. But a part of this prayer that I was made aware of in 2012, which stuck with me, And it talks about the darkness that we all may face, a community may face, and in the case of right now, this is why this is so relatable, a whole nation may face. The darkness we sometimes think is the darkness of the tomb. That's it. It's over. We're dying. We're dead. This darkness that we are feeling is the worst kind of depression you could ever be in. It's over. There is no hope in sight. But the Sikhs say, maybe it's not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb. Maybe we are being reborn again. Maybe something good will come from this. Maybe we will be able to start anew. Considering our current political climate, which I did take a fair amount of time to analyze over the weekend, I was feeling a bit under the weather for those of you that are inquiring about my whereabouts on Friday. I just wasn't feeling so good, so I needed to take a day. I feel much better now. Thank you for all of those who are asking. But if I'm not 100%, I'm not going to waste your time. Like, you have to be 100% doing this job, because if I'm not 100%, then the show is going to leave a lot to be desired. And I think that you guys deserve better than that. So if I can't be 100% on any particular day, I won't come to work, but we'll play a show from the past where I was 100%. It just won't be current. This could be an opportunity for us to renew and to revigorate the American experiment. Now, this is me being optimistic. Please allow me to be optimistic, because over the weekend, I took in a lot of different information. I did a lot of reading. I read a lot in my spare time, and I try and get different perspectives, because now more than ever, I think I need different perspectives, because it's time out for just being mad at Donald Trump and the Trump supporters. While I could harbor a tremendous amount of anger, the election is over. It was not the result that I wanted. It was not the result that a lot of you wanted, but it is over, and it was decisive. And so as I'm watching a variety of different, cable news shows, Sunday morning talk shows, reading a bunch of articles, and the autopsy is, well, what happened to the Democrats? What did the Democrats do wrong? Nancy Pelosi was throwing Joe Biden under the bus. Then Nancy Pelosi, now they're mad at Nancy. They're throwing her completely under the bus. She's involved herself in presidential politics when she shouldn't have. Now Nancy Pelosi is saying that, like, selecting Kamala Harris was undemocratic. That's something I'd expect for the Republicans to say. Nancy Pelosi said, and I'm going to paraphrase here, that the Democrats should have had a primary process. Then Nancy Pelosi bookends that comment by saying, Kamala Harris would have won if there was a primary, but we needed one nonetheless. Nancy, that makes no sense, because it would have been a waste of time. It would have been a waste of effort. It would have been a waste of money. And all those other Democrats that would have been in that primary just would have beat up on Kamala Harris, giving the Republicans and Trumpism more fuel for their fire. I'm a Democrat. You guys know that. I've been one my entire life. I've never voted anything but, and I'm proud of that. And if anybody asks me why, how much time do you got? Because I'm willing to explain it. The Democrats failed to understand something. There were signs, the writing was on the wall, and they were either unwilling or unable to shift to encapsulate the direction that our country was going in. This was not a Kamala Harris problem. And one thing that I did gather from all the information that I acquired over the weekend, and really since the election was over, because everything is an autopsy on the Democrats, as there needs to be, because temporarily that party is dead. And in the event, they're still counting votes out west, because they've got a heavy mail-in ballot contingent out west. We're still counting votes. If the Republicans have what we call the trifecta, we don't know if the Democrats are going to get the House. As of right now, I think the Republicans have, and the number changes every day, the Republicans have 212 seats in the House of Representatives. The Democrats have 199. Of the, 19 remaining races that are still being tallied and counted, the Democrats need all 19 of them. I think my math may be off just a little bit, But the Democrats need to win like better than 80% of the remaining races. I don't think they're going to do it. So you got to keep this in mind. So Donald Trump gets reelected with a margin that none of us are going to question, even though I'm seeing some of y'all sounding like the January 6 people back in 2020 and 2021. Oh, it was a conspiracy. Where are all these other votes? Oh, there's 10 million less votes this election than the previous election. Yeah, because they're still counting them. Oh, Elon Musk and his Starlink system, he hacked into the system. Now, there's some unusual things surrounding Elon Musk's involvement. Rumor has it that Elon Musk was at some watch party somewhere because, he was heavily invested and still is in Donald Trump's re-election efforts, spent $130 million of his own money. 4 hours before either the results were available or 4 hours before the last poll closed. It was something about 4 hours. Elon Musk, he won. I'm going home. I'm leaving. I'm going home. He already won. And people were wondering, how in the hell did Elon Musk know that Donald Trump won? And he physically left wherever he was watching the election results and did go home. This was hours before the rest of us knew anything about the election results. And because Elon Musk said that, people were thinking there was some kind of impropriety. What I know about Starlink, which is not very much, but it can read computer algorithms, and there were a number of polling locations that were in the Starlink system that were just being watched based upon the number of votes that were coming in. And there was a ratio that favored Donald Trump, which it did nationwide. I talked about this last week. 90% of the counties in America shifted more to the right. Donald Trump did better everywhere. He did better in liberal areas. He did better in New York. He did better in New Jersey. He did marginally better in Wisconsin. The national average, Donald Trump improved his vote total and his reach by 6%. In Wisconsin, it was about 1.6%. So we resisted it, but we still were a part of this very unusual red wave. And I want to try and talk about that today. What happened? Why the Democrats need this autopsy, but it's not even about the Democrats because there was not a candidate. Listen to me when I tell you, there was not a candidate that would have beaten Donald Trump on November 5th. There is not one. It's not a Gavin Newsom. It wasn't a Josh Shapiro. It wasn't a Wes Moore. None of them would have beaten Donald Trump because the writing had been on the wall for years, and the Democrats failed to understand it or interpret it, or we wanted to dismiss those. Let me say this. Trump supporters, I don't know why you're still mad. Some of y'all are still mad. Y'all won the election. Now's an opportunity for y'all to be magnanimous. You won. And Donald Trump may have the full levers of the federal government in his favor with the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. So let me take a break, come back, and I'll start diving into things. This darkness that we are feeling, it may not be the darkness of the tomb, could be the darkness of the womb. Maybe through all of this, we come to a conclusion in which America can be reborn much better than it was in the past. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip as they head to Virginia Wednesday night to take on the Longwood Lancers.
We have confirmed that. Back goes John Lovelace Jr. transition dunk on a tomahawk for Johnny.
Scott Warris has the coverage Wednesday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield.
Stillwell offensive rebound, spin, score, and a foul.
Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock.
Fathers, grandfathers, future fathers, and father figures. Bring your families and join Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit Saturday, November 16th at Milwaukee Academy of Science from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Don't miss this one-stop shop resource fair connecting Milwaukee families with job opportunities, child support help, health education and screenings, financial empowerment, legal assistance, and fatherly inspiration. The featured speaker is Pastor Kenneth Locke from Evolve Church. Bring your teens and learn about internships, jobs, and local mentoring opportunities. Register to be eligible to win gift cards, so don't wait. Gifts and prizes will also be available for families during the event. Pre-register today by visiting milwaukee.gov/fatherhood to join us as a participant and exhibitor or to support the Fatherhood Summit as a volunteer. That is milwaukee.gov/fatherhood. See you Saturday, November 16th at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit, sponsored by the City of Milwaukee, Brewers Community Foundation, and Ascension, Wisconsin.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Educators Credit Union is dedicated to helping college students along their journey. Each year, they award $70,000 in scholarships to 35 outstanding high school seniors in southeastern Wisconsin. So, mark your calendars. Applications open on January 13th, 2024. They also offer resources like the ECU College Planning Center to help students successfully prepare for college. For more information on these tools and to apply for the scholarship, visit ecu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Cousins Subs is spicing things up this fall with a new sub and a delicious shake. The Chipotle Cheesesteak Sub with either grilled-to-order chicken or steak features pepper jack cheese, sautéed green peppers and onions, jalapenos, and Chipotle ranch dressing. And that's not all. Pair your Chipotle Cheesesteak with a new pumpkin pie shake and your taste buds will fall in love. Order in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Of all the different ways this most recent election can be looked at, there was something that was very specific, and there was a trend. You got to look at trends because trends will tell you a direction, and once you know a direction, you can figure out how to best counter that direction. Donald Trump did surprisingly well with men. He won men. He really won white men. But there was also some shifting of Latino men and African-American men. Now, let's be abundantly clear. And listen, I'm tired of arguing with y'all. Please stop blaming Donald Trump's victory on black and Hispanic men voting for him. Combined, black and Hispanic men are maybe 11, 12% of the entire voting population. White women did more to give this election to Donald Trump than all people of color that voted for Donald Trump combined. So, but that's also white America not wanting to. So if it goes well, if the Trump presidency goes well, which after today's show, you may have a different feeling about whether it goes well or not. If it goes well, they'll take credit for it. If it doesn't go well, they're going to blame black people. And the Democrats are doing this. They lost black men. It was partially not being able to see the trend that men were shifting toward Donald Trump. But there's something very unique in that I want to shed some light on that I think might be missed in all of the data. And I think in future elections, now it depends on how a lot of stuff goes. There's already a natural number of African-American men who are Republicans for a variety of reasons, right? But that number is growing. And these are not Republicans, though. This is Trumpism. This is very, very different. So I want to pause that thought. I want to go to line one and talk to the official poet laureate of 1017 The Truth, J.D. Masters. J.D., how are you, sir?
I was sick last week. On Wednesday, I didn't even get out to bed. My people was looking for me.
See, I was sick, too. I had to take off on Friday because I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, I heard about that, I know you wasn't well, but that's good. You had to get out and do what you got to do and get back together. But over the weekend, my pastor gave me a new word that pertains to this administration. It's called recrudescence, and it is the recurrence of an undesirable condition. And that's what we have with this Trump administration. We have the return of an undesired condition or the sudden appearance of something dangerous. And I think that people need to be made aware of that. And I wrote a little poem to talk about it. Would you like to hear it?
Indeed, we would.
It's called We Know the Truth. We know the truth. Kamala didn't let us down. White women showed they won't be around. Latinos and Hispanics may get deported. They can't tell if you ain't illegal or how you voted. We know who forgot. about women's rights. It wasn't black women. Karen gave up the fight. Juan and Maria voted against their interests. 75% of black men voted correct. We won't forget this. A dictator on day one, he said that. Mass deportations, he's sending brown people back. And abortion isn't birth control. It's a healthcare choice. When Becky cheats with Jerome, she'll wish she didn't lose her voice. Immunity for police. Take the autonomy from the Fed. This administration is sick. Please, people, don't be misled. He has deep admiration for Russia and North Korea. Would you live in either place? This man is political gonorrhea. This is how we fight this. Take over school boards. Make them teach critical race theory. Raise kids to be academic swords. Buy and rent. Local politicians. We'll pay what we weigh or we'll make them vacate their positions. Stay in tune to the state legislature. Most rights are states' rights. This is not conjecture. Buy a house or another one. Take pride in your block and the war can be won. In closing, it's evident. Black people did right. We supported our person. And please, never give up the fight. And that's that piece, Sherwin.
Thank you, JD. That was wonderful. Listen to all the people clapping. There's many people. So much applause for that poem. Yeah, he hit the nail on the head. This is not to deny what women go through at all, because women are an unusual specimen in American society, that they are majority in number, but of minority status, which I don't know if women should be. So prior to Title IX, which essentially eliminated, this is 1972. Title IX is 1972, Roe versus Wade, 1973, the Fair Lending and Credit Act, 1974, right? So women in this country, in those 3 years, 72 with Title IX, 1973 with them getting the constitutional protections of the right to privacy to make their own decisions about their body and their reproductive health, and then the Fair Credit and Lending Act of 1974. Prior to that, women couldn't get a mortgage. Women couldn't get a credit card. They would need a man to co-sign for their credit. Now, there are some women that actually may like how it was prior to the Fair Lending and Credit Act, because you were never responsible for your debt. So a woman could run up the debt on the credit card and never be responsible for it, because the credit card would have to be in a man's name. Problem was, that is what the situation was for a lot of women. They could not obtain credit. They could not get a mortgage, and their husbands would die. And now they can't get a credit card. Now they can't get a mortgage to buy a house of their own if they so chose, right? But in those 3 years, women made monumental progress. And this is not to minimize at all what women are still going through and dealing with at the hands of men. So I don't want people to think that if I'm talking about the despair and the sorrows of men, that it's at the expense of women. Both can be true at the exact same time. Men are disappearing from American society in places that we traditionally occupy. And where there are fewer men to have those opportunities. 76% of K through 12 teachers in this country are women. Boys are doing worse in school. Girls have better graduation rates, better college acceptance rates. They have more college degrees than men do. Prior to Title IX, a man's likelihood of going to college, he was 13% more likely to go to college. Now, that gender disparity has reversed. Now, women are 15% more likely to go to college. Women are now starting to increase their share in STEM jobs, science, technology, engineering, and math. I think the newest one is STEAM, science, technology, engineering, artistry, and math. Women are now increasing their share in those professions, which again is good, but there are fewer men in those STEM and STEAM positions. But here's the one that we don't talk about at all, which is problematic. So I'm going to leave you with this. So I'm going to take a break. So the new jobs are called HEAL. Health, education. Oh, what is the A? I should know this. Is that art as well? Hold on. I just had it. Health, education, administration, and literacy. That's HEAL. So for every STEM or STEAM job that's created, okay, so every one STEM or STEAM job created, which women are now increasing their share, which is great for women, but men are disappearing. Men also have higher suicide rates, and there's a commonality because there's been a study on male suicides in the last decade or so, and maybe this comes on the heels of 3rd District Alderman Jonathan Brostoff taking his life last week Monday. Men, when they leave suicide notes, report feeling useless and hopeless. As society is changing, so is our role, and I don't know if men know, especially men who would typically be on the lower end of the scale, lower end of the spectrum, because they're certainly not wanted by women. If you're on the lower end of the income spectrum or the education spectrum, women make it abundantly clear. Then we have this cohort of men called incels. They are involuntarily celibate. We're talking about men that are 30 years old, never had a girlfriend, never had sex before. These are lonely, lonely, desperate men. And sometimes lonely, lonely, desperate men are incredibly dangerous because they have access to firearms. But for every one STEM or STEAM job created, 3 HEAL jobs are created: health, education, administration, and literacy. This actually is the wave of the future, and there are even fewer men in the HEAL professions. If you sum all this up, there's a malaise falling over younger men in the United States of America. Donald Trump captured them. He captured them. He lied to them. They're vulnerable. They are. And when you're vulnerable, you are more susceptible to misinformation. So I'm going to take a break, come back. We're going to dig into it. If the Democrats don't figure out how to talk to disaffected men, they're going to lose a lot more elections, and the nation can't afford that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Everywhere in America, families are struggling with an all too common problem.
She missed school again.
Again?
Something is going on. She's secretive.
Should we check her backpack?
When you suspect a family member has a substance use disorder, it's hard to know what to do next.
We need to talk to her.
Starting the conversation is the first step to getting help. Visit SAMHSA at samhsa.gov/families for tips, or for treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl, Noni Juice, here from my friends at Steinhafels. And there is nothing better than a great night's sleep on a Tempur-Pedic mattress from Steinhafels. The advanced pressure-relieving power makes aches and pains a thing of the past. Right now at Steinhafels, you can save up to $300 on mattresses and up to $200 when you upgrade to an adjustable base. Plus, you can get $300 in Steinhafels cash. And Queen Tempur-Pedic mattresses start at just $48 per month when you use Steinhafels' 60-month financing. Shop in-store or online at steinhafels.com.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Dr. Ken Harris with his truth.
An integrated strategy, including infrastructure, community involvement, education, enforcement, and legislative reforms. Yeah, we've kind of heard that before already. It can correct pretty much anything, right? They use it for everything except reckless driving in Milwaukee. I want you to consider this now. Expand the number of police officers in neighborhoods where reckless driving is happening, punish with fines, extended license suspensions, use speed and red light cameras. We need to inform people about the repercussions of reckless driving, and then we need to follow through with punishment. We need to continue to build speed bumps, roundabouts, narrow the lanes to help traffic slow down. And while you're at it, designate some space for bicycles and pedestrians only. We need to encourage the use of mobile apps to report reckless driving since you're on your phone anyway. And finally, promote local and state legislation that successfully combats irresponsible driving. Yeah, we've heard that before, but no. Just enforce the laws we already have on the books. And by combining this, Milwaukee drivers can enjoy a safe environment that lowers reckless driving, all the risks that come with it. Why? Well, this needs to be the Common Council and the city's primary focus. So perhaps next time there won't be that, dead on arrival traffic bill in Milwaukee Common Council or that traffic bill in state legislature. But then if you're driving, you might want to be careful. I mean, the next thing that's dead on arrival could be you.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is from boysandmen.com. More women in STEM, fewer men in HEAL. In recent decades, huge progress has been made in smashing the gender stereotypes associated with many traditional male jobs, including science, medicine, engineering, law, and even the military. When the original Perry Mason series aired in 1966, just 4% of law students were female. By the time of HBO's new version in the summer of 2020, there were as many women in law school as men. Terms like female lawyer and female doctor already sound antiquated. Similar trends can be seen in other formerly male-dominated fields. In 1980, women accounted for just 13% of jobs in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math. The share has now more than doubled to 27%. There's more work to be done for sure. Progress has been especially slow in the tech world, but in general, what Harvard's Claudia Golden calls the auras of gender around the most male-dominated professions have declined. But the same is not true in the other direction. Traditionally, female occupations, what are called the HEAL fields, health, education, administration, and literacy, have, if anything, become even more pink-collar. Just 26% of HEAL jobs are held by men, down from 35% in 1980. And this is the direction that our country is going in. These HEAL jobs are being created at 3 times the STEM jobs. And it just seemed like we just started talking about STEM and STEAM and MPS like 10 years ago. As, you know, different employment avenues and opportunities and different vocations. And that's not even where the jobs are going to be created. And so I guess the one thing I want you all to take away from this, in areas and fields in American society where there are fewer men, there will be fewer successful men. Men are getting left behind. And this is not taking anything away from women. I got to make this distinction. But when men feel out of place or don't know what their place is, or they're losing status and stature in the society and in their families. So in children that are born either to married parents that get divorced or children that are born out of wedlock, a third of those children, this is the statistic that blew me away because this is problematic too, but all of this is a reason why Donald Trump was able to get more men, especially black men. And here's what's crazy. Knowing what Donald Trump said, whether people believe Trump saying he's going to give the police immunity and he's going to double down on tough on crime, doesn't matter. Donald Trump spoke to disaffected men in a way that nobody else was. So they accepted some of the things that Donald Trump said that were, let's just say, distasteful in favor of the fact that Donald Trump was shedding light on these men who are seemingly living in the dark. Of children that are born either to married parents, a couple, or whatever the other situations are. When those parents are not together, a third of those children, a full third, 33% of those kids, never see their fathers again. Never see their fathers again. Not, every other weekend, once a month, holidays. They don't see their dads at all. That is problematic as well. But the same is not true in the other direction. Traditionally, female occupations, especially in what are called HEAL fields, health, education, administration, and literacy, have, if anything, become even more pink-collar. Just 26% of HEAL jobs are held by men, down from 35% in 1980. The gender desegregation of the labor market has so far been almost entirely one way. Women are doing men's jobs, men are not doing women's jobs. But then it also kind of bleeds into the world of social media conversation because women are wondering, and rightfully so. I'm going to try and provide concrete evidence to this reality. Women are wondering, well, where are all the good men at? Where are the men with the good jobs? Where are the men that can be protectors and providers? Literally gone, literally non-existent. Some of it is because the things that women do professionally with higher levels of education than us, higher graduation rates from high school, higher college acceptance rates, higher college degree rates, master's degrees, et cetera, where women go when they set off on their trajectory of success, there are fewer and fewer men. And if she wants to lean in to try and find a companion, I'm not even talking about marriage here, but just a male peer that she shares a level of education with, that she shares a career with, there's fewer and fewer. So she, the woman, has to look down, and women don't like to look down. Women are what we call hypergamous. Women want a man. I'm talking about cisgender heterosexual relationships. If you are something different, I am not speaking to you. Do not get offended. Women would rather find someone, I'm not speaking on behalf of all women, but a lot of y'all. Most women don't want a man who, if she's got a college degree, if she's got a master's degree and is in upper level management, she is not necessarily wanting to deal with a man who is working on his GED, who is habitually unemployed. That's a reasonable statement without being too general. There are fewer and fewer men, and because there are fewer and fewer men, these men are just seemingly left behind. What is our place in society? I also think the part of increasing male support, especially men of color support for Donald Trump, is a rebuke of feminism. Because feminism, it seems, in men who already feel diminished, women bettering them and outpacing them, and at the same time ridiculing these men, push them even further to Donald Trump, because he represents a particular type of masculinity that masks itself as strength. And if you feel low, if you're underemployed and you're unemployed, let me talk about wages. Real wages for men have gone down. In 1972, with real wages, so adjusting for inflation, men made more money 50 years ago than they do right now. We have lower levels of education. We are in just way worse social positions. Women are outpacing us, and our dollars are even shorter. So the economic issues that Donald Trump was talking about, the inflation under Joe Biden, I was able to give you guys the real statistics of where inflation was, but that doesn't account for how it's actually hurting people's pocketbooks. Inflation over the last 3 years, it did rise. Everything got more expensive, no question about that, because the dollar lost some of its value. Inflation, the rate in which prices continue to rise, has leveled off, but the prices have never dropped. And if you know something about America, prices don't drop. So if you're unemployed and underemployed and have lower levels of education, this economic thing hits you differently. And I think some men felt that as well, because Donald Trump was making these promises. He talked about the economy ad nauseum, but also the challenges to masculinity now that some men take very personally. And then I was saying it the run up to the election, that those ads that they were doing, talking about Kamala Harris is for they, them, Donald Trump is for you, that hit hard. That did. That actually polled well with African-American men. All of the transgender stuff that the Democrats apparently either embrace or they don't shun it like the Trumpers do, that hurt Kamala as well, because a lot of men don't see their place in society, or their place in society is diminished. Women are outpacing us. Women are diminishing us even further, because if a man doesn't have any earning potential, fellas, sorry. That's where we get a lot of our value from, right? But if our real wages have gone down in 50 years, then women simply don't need us, which makes men feel even further diminished. And then when they see strong women, they see the feminist movement galvanizing women together, especially in the face of women losing their reproductive rights. Donald Trump had an eager audience. I'm going to take a break, come back. Guess we'll talk to Bob on the other side. This will be interesting. Rick, does Bob ever give you any indication of what he's calling about? Does he ever tell you what his topic is or any of that? Okay, that Rick said no. What's I expect. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call That's All Gruber Cash giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
Fathers, grandfathers, future fathers, and father figures, bring your families and join Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit Saturday, November 16th at Milwaukee Academy of Science from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Don't miss this one-stop shop resource fair connecting Milwaukee families with job opportunities, child support help, health education and screenings, financial empowerment, legal assistance, and fatherly inspiration. The featured speaker is Pastor Kenneth Locke from Evolve Church. Bring your teens and learn about internships, jobs, and local mentoring opportunities. Register to be eligible to win gift cards, so don't wait. Gifts and prizes will also be available for families during the event. Pre-register today by visiting milwaukee.gov/fatherhood to join us as a participant and exhibitor, or to support the Fatherhood Summit as a volunteer. That is milwaukee.gov/fatherhood. See you Saturday, November 16th at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit, sponsored by the City of Milwaukee, Brewers Community Foundation, and Ascension, Wisconsin.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From David French in the New York Times, he says, to understand the state of men in this country, it's necessary to know three things. First, millions of men are falling behind women academically and suffering from a lack of meaning and purpose. Second, there is no consensus whatsoever on whether there's a problem, much less how to respond and pull millions of men back from the brink. Third, many men are filling the void themselves by turning to gurus to guide their lives. They're not waiting for elite culture, the education establishment, or the church to define their manhood. They're turning to Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan, Joe Peterson, and a host of others, including Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson, to show them the way. I would also add Theo Von to that, and other members of what they call the manosphere, reinvigorating an old school, antiquated kind of masculinity that is definitely anti-woman. Here is why that is dangerous, because they are prey for Donald Trump. Disaffected men can be dangerous in a variety of different ways. They can be dangerous to themselves with the higher rates of suicide. They can be dangerous to other people because these disaffected men who are sometimes incels can be mass shooters, because we know the mass shooters are majority men. And they also can vote for an unusual kind of authoritarianism because it represents the kind of man that they would very much like to be in a society that they think is very much favoring women, but favoring women that don't even want them. And the Democrats failed to see this. Let's talk to Bob. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hello, Sherwin. I know you're trying to somewhat switch subjects, but I need to get a few things off my chest because I'm still angry, if you don't mind, sir.
Go ahead, Bob.
Number one, this is Veterans Day. You know, and the way Trump talked, he couldn't talk like that in North Korea against the administration. He go to jail. He can't talk like that in Russia or he go to jail. But he can talk like that in the United States. And people can protest and say things very horrible and not go to jail. But he called them losers. People like McCain, our military, he called them losers. So you American people who voted for him, feel good about yourself. Feel good. Oh, my goodness. And you know, my son was in the reserves for 20 years, and he was in the service for 7 years. I give him credit. But, you know, one time you said fun, and you didn't mean it like fun in a positive way. You meant to say, oh, we got 4 years of Trump. Oh, this is going to be fun. So you meant it in a negative way, which you should have. But tell me how much fun it's going to be watching a cruel retard for 4 years. That's no fun.
Bob, you're not supposed to say that word.
Retard, I give the most help to. But a cruel retard, I don't give no help to.
Stop saying that word.
My goodness. If you can remember, I called you when you had that woman as your producer. And I'm going to make you remember when I called you that it was the weekend before Biden resigned. And I said, now I don't think they'd have won, but I said to you, now our vice president should have, gave them checks that the money was in her name and picked the person from California, Desmond or Shapiro. And your producer said the one from California. If you can remember.
So his name is Gavin Newsom, and there is no way that Kamala Harris could have raided the campaign account of her and Joe Biden and given it to someone else, because that would be unfair to those donors, because those donors wrote those checks and gave that money and donated online with the intent and the purpose of that money going to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So what you were suggesting is that the $250 million that the Biden-Harris campaign had at the time, they'd have to refund all of the donors and hope that the donors would rewrite those checks to somebody else, keeping in mind we only had 108 days until the election. So, Bob, what you were speaking of was a literal impossibility.
Well, one thing else I spoke about. Go down kicking. Talk about how he's not a responsible person in being our president.
Bob, here's what I want you to do, Bob, because I think you're bogged down on things that didn't matter to anybody. The only people that kind of stuff, like Donald Trump's, his morality, his criminal record, his impeachments, the only individuals that mattered to were the people that were never going to vote for him. Donald Trump did something bigger and something larger that the Democrats either failed to see or did not want to acknowledge. And so still being angry on how bad of a person Donald Trump is not going to solve any problems, because he was bad before he started running for president. Then he got worse. Then he got elected president and couldn't have gotten any worse. And not only did he get reelected, Bob, he got reelected with a larger margin. He expanded his base. So us being stuck on how bad of a person he is and how rude and insensitive he is to miss the point completely. He is speaking to a group group of Americans that the Democrats have completely ignored in their elitism. The more you punish Trump, the more you talk about how bad of a person he is, the better he is going to do. Let this be a lesson to everybody that can't stand him, that hates him, that thinks he shouldn't be president. The more you speak negatively about him, the more you are going to push certain people toward him, because they can punish us by supporting him. And I'm going to have to leave it there, Bob. So that does no good, talking about how terrible Donald Trump is. Does no good. Because those of us that continue with that narrative are ignoring the people that we should have been paying attention to, and Donald Trump is their savior. But here's the other thing that Trump is doing. Oh, I got to tell you when I come back from my break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. The Truth app is home for all the Milwaukee Panther content you would want.
He'll dart baseline, and he will tomahawk it home with his right hand.
From conversations on the airwaves.
We're going to defend every board up the floor and every bounce and every pass. And we've got good depth, and you have to have good depth for the way we play.
To game highlights.
And at the top, rises for three over Young and buries it.
Find The Roar on the Truth app, Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts to keep up with Panthers hoops.
Financial literacy can make a huge impact on the success of our future leaders. By engaging in hands-on courses, teaching essential skills like budgeting, savings, and investing, Junior Achievement of Wisconsin is helping prepare students for a future of financial success and independence. Bring these vital lessons to your school or community. Visit wisconsin.ja.org to learn more. Junior Achievement, inspiring, preparing, succeeding.
What's going on, Truth Nation, and all the Juicy Jammers tapping in? Yes, it is your boy, Benjamin, and y'all already know how we rock it. Make sure that you do open up your ears, because right now you're about to listen to a snippet from our lovely guest that we had on Election Day, the Kamala Harris. Tap in. Can Jam with Juice come to the White House and get some of those good collard greens that you have?
You know, that's the one thing I have to tell you through this campaign. I have not been cooking, and you know I love to cook, and I will put my collard greens up against anybody.
Wow. Madam VP, I heard you got some good dressing too, but I just wanted to tell you, my auntie, y'all gonna have to compete. I'm sorry. Y'all gotta compete.
I'm up for the challenge. I am up for the challenge.
Now that you've listened to that, Truth Nation, and all the Juicy Jammers listening, make sure that you go check out the full interview live on our YouTube page. It's all there. All right, and as I always say, it's amazing.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Black men are the most likely Americans to die from lung cancer, and black people develop the disease earlier in life than others. Federal guidelines have nearly doubled the number of black Americans eligible for lung cancer screening. Insurance companies are required to cover these tests for those ages 50 to 80 who smoke or used to smoke. If that's you, talk to a doctor about lung cancer screening. For more information and to find a screening center near you, visit acr.org/mylcs. That's acr.org/mylcs.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So the first hour I talked about, this situation that men are in, everybody got mad and everybody was having a fit that black men, the Latino men, that's a whole different thing. You got to have a conversation with someone who is from a Latin American country that went through the trials and tribulations to become an American citizen, and the sentiments that they have about someone who they believe came over to this country and didn't have to go through all that they had to go through in order to become a citizen, which is something as an African American I do not understand. So you gotta look at these things separately, right? Donald Trump has an agenda, and if you look at the people that he had around him during his first term and some of the things that he said, especially in Charlottesville, which I know nobody remembers, Donald Trump surrounded himself with white nationalists. Donald Trump didn't know about the government, didn't care about the government. Donald Trump was never and still is not a politician. Donald Trump wanted power. There's things that he specifically wanted to do, and he worked with Republicans because he ran and won as one to let them get whatever they wanted as far as policies and executive orders and the Heritage Foundation getting Supreme Court picks, et cetera, et cetera. And Donald Trump, of course, had his own agenda as well. And we can even go back to the Central Park Five. The Exonerator Five. We don't call them the Central Park Five. We call them the Exonerator Five to give you some hints as to Donald Trump's, his stream of consciousness, we call it, because you never know what's in somebody's mind, but you can look at the things that they do to determine where their mindset is. And then also being sued by the federal government because he had the people that were renting and leasing his apartments mark all of the apartments from prospective black renters with an X, and he got in trouble for not renting to black people. So that is his stream of consciousness. And then he hires and surrounds himself with a bunch of white nationalists. Steve Bannon is one. What's the other one's name? Stephen Miller is another. He's already starting to make some of his appointments now to his next term. This is going to be more determining factors of Donald Trump's stream of consciousness. Donald Trump doesn't like migrants. He doesn't like immigrants. He doesn't like aliens. Can we agree on that? I'm going to talk about his border policy in a second, why I think he's going to be incredibly successful. Will he deport as many people as he wants? No. Will there, in fact, be mass deportations? You better believe it. Will it have an impact on America? We'll see. I got a contrasting viewpoint that I'm going to introduce to the whole deporting people that I don't know if folks are aware of, so that might give you a little bit more context. But Donald Trump, we can say, doesn't like certain kinds of people. He also knows that men of any and every race in this country, some men are feeling left out and left behind. So here's what you do, and this is the brilliance in him. And I know you don't want me to call him brilliant, but he did something in front of our faces, and we either didn't understand it, didn't believe it, we discredited it. We thought, well, he's a bad person. He's not going to get elected. Look how terrible he is. Look at all the felony convictions. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me and hear me good. None of that matters. And the more that Democrats harp on that, the more time they are wasting from stopping an autocrat. Donald Trump knows how to encapsulate certain people, how to bring them into his campaign, and he did that, and he expanded his base. At the same time, he wants migrants and illegal immigrants out of the country. So what you do is you tell these disaffected men that don't know their place in society anymore that it's not the changing and shifting of society and our jobs and technology and just the rapid pace of how things are morphing in our society. No, you just blame the people that Donald Trump hates. So if you can get the disaffected men who are lost, who are sad, who are depressed, and tell them that migrants are the problem, you'll get black men to hate migrants too, because we want to blame somebody else. We want to blame an other for why we feel the way we feel, why we feel sad, why we feel disconnected, instead of looking at how society just forgot about men. And this is not at the expense of women. But when you have men that don't have a place or feel hopeless and helpless in a society, men will do really bad things, including be vulnerable to the romantic fantasies of Donald Trump. And so what you do is you have all of this energy from all these disaffected men. And Donald Trump represents this bull in a china shop kind of masculinity where you can grab women by the this, by the that, and you can get a bunch of felonies and, oh, look at the law, they're coming down on me just like they come down on you. See, I'm one of you, Donald Trump will say. And these men, God bless them, that are so vulnerable, they believed it. And then Donald Trump, well, he had them mesmerized and had them captivated. He said, migrants are your problem. They're taking your jobs. He told y'all in your face they're taking black jobs. And we know damn well There ain't no migrant taking a black job, but when people are vulnerable, they'll believe damn near anything. Trump wants to get rid of migrants. Trump knows that there are disaffected men in this country. Trump knows that he represents and has for 40 years since he's been on television or in the media a particular kind of masculinity that some men crave. And he brought it to them. And they believed it. And then Trump said the reason why you feel the way you feel is because these migrants and they're coming over here and they're murdering and they're killing. We have an opioid crisis in this country. Donald Trump was president. He did nothing about it. Just like he told Republicans when he was running for president not to sign on to and support and vote for which would have been the toughest border bill we've seen in more than a decade. Donald Trump needs the problem. Donald Trump needs people. Listen to me and listen to me good, because I need you to understand the man is going to be president for the next 4 years, maybe longer. You know how they featured these families that lost loved ones to murderers that are migrants, and they talked about the fentanyl crisis and the opioid crisis, and they would feature these families, and they would say the names of the individuals who lost their lives in drug overdoses from fentanyl or from heroin, or some 13-year-old girl that was murdered and raped by some illegal border crosser, right? You guys are familiar with that. Donald Trump didn't do anything when he was president because he needed those murders. He needed those overdoses so he can blame the migrants. So when he has this captive audience of disaffected men, they will blame the migrants too. He wants to deport 11 million people. For the most part, they are not criminals. They're a significant part of our American economy. Their labor is necessary to run this country. In fact, if these migrants are deported just from Wisconsin alone, I don't know what our share is, our dairy industry will collapse. But he doesn't care. And he has a whole audience of people, 75 million people that support him in his endeavors. Meaning, it doesn't matter how bad Trump is, how terrible he is, how he talks, that he has 34 felonies. Donald Trump won the biggest jury trial in the history of America. 74 million people voted to acquit. We focus too much on how horrible he is instead of looking at the people he was talking to. And now what we're going to do, this is what I fear. The Democrats are not going to learn. Y'all are still going to get mad at black men who, let's be clear, we hate black men. Even when y'all pretend to love us, you really don't. I think y'all say you love black men because it sounds politically correct. Nobody loves us. I assure you of this. Very few people love us. Some of y'all like, you could love us if we were just a little better. If we had a little more money, had a little more house, had a little more car, had a little more credit, had a little more education. Y'all, we are not loved. And so a lot of us, black men, double down on Trump, even though he has made it abundantly clear in the past, he don't care about us as black men. But he gave us somebody to hate. He gave us somebody to blame. The migrants. Because that's his agenda anyway. He wants to get rid of these people. Now, the question is, once he is successful in that, and I think he will be successful, there will be a lot of deportations. Who's next? Who's next? It's a saying called you get your just desert. Just as in justice, what you earn, what you deserve. Voting for this man is going to have consequences that a lot of us have never seen before, nor will we know how to deal with them. Because, again, it's not like Donald Trump has a plan for these men. Donald Trump didn't mention we are going to have programs in schools through the Department of Education, which he is getting rid of, where we are going to invest more in the HEAL economy, health, education, administration. And what's the L? I just had it pulled up. What's the L in HEAL? Well, you know what it is. It's the L in HEAL. He's not talking about that. He's not saying we've got a problem with men and men feel helpless and hopeless in American society, so we want to reinvest in men and boys. He's not talking about how women and girls are outpacing us in school. There was actually one political science / educator that said boys actually, because of girls mature faster, they develop faster, their brains are more linguistically prone than boys. They're saying to actually help boys do better in school, we should start school a year later. Ain't that crazy? Boys should literally start school later, because when school starts, we are already at a disadvantage to girls. But Trump's not talking about any of that. He's taking advantage of vulnerable people. And so what are we doing? We're getting mad at the vulnerable people that are supporting Donald Trump, all while we're talking terrible mess about Donald Trump, which is just going to get more disaffected people to support him. That is not how you win an election. What we need to do is tell people, stop blaming somebody else, a migrant from another country, for your problems, sir. We got to acknowledge society has not been fair. We've been paying a lot more attention to women. Men, we thought you were going to be okay. We thought you'd be able to survive the test of time. We thought you'd be able to survive with artificial intelligence and downsizing companies and corporations and the North American free trade agreements. Men, we thought you would survive, but you're clearly not surviving. So let's retool and try and figure out how we can get men back involved in the society, in the electoral process, and even in the home and in the family. We're not doing that. We are taking advantage of men that have nothing, and they're very dangerous. These men are. And Trump used them as political fodder, and it's horribly sad. And he did it in plain sight, and the Democrats ignored it. I'm going to take a break, come back, continue the conversation. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip as they head to Virginia Wednesday night to take on the Longwood Lancers.
We have confirmed that. Back goes John Lovelace Jr. transition dunk on a tomahawk for Johnny.
Scott Warris has the coverage Wednesday starting at 5:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield.
Stillwell offensive rebound, spin, score, and a foul.
Tip-off happens at 6 o'clock.
The Empowerment Small Business Loan Program, we're talking about up to $5 million, which for small business owners, we need that. That's like payroll, that's resources. So can you just let us know, what is the program and why is this lending program so important to Old National Bank?
Years ago, our CEO, Jim Ryan, this program is his brainchild. He was working with Roland Shelton, who you know Denise out of Evansville, and they identified that African-American business owners, Hispanic business owners, Native American business owners, as well as women business owners had a difficult time in obtaining financing from the traditional credit partners. And so we went out, created a program, launched it last year in 2023. And so far last year, we have helped over 100 successful minority and women-owned businesses with about $25 million in loans. We've already started this year with almost $8 million in approvals, again, geared toward minority business owners and women business owners that normally had difficulties in obtaining traditional credit finance.
Your drink, sir? This virtual vacation is brought to you by Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. For the full experience, visit flymke.com to explore our many nonstop destinations. With super convenient parking and low fares, flying from Milwaukee makes traveling so easy, it's like starting your vacation early. Fly easy, fly MKE.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee Health Services Incorporated is celebrating 35 years of serving all income and medically underserved populations of Milwaukee's metropolitan area. MHSI is a one-stop shop that provides medical, radiology, dental, pediatric, behavioral health, pharmacies with affordable medications, and more. Also, MHSI's new family medicine residency program, located at the Isaac Cogg's Heritage Health Center, has brought 28 family doctors to our area, which is significantly impacted by healthcare workforce shortages. Become a new patient today. To schedule an appointment, call 414-372-8080. Your health is their business.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Corey, this is bigger than finding a quote-unquote better Democrat. Listen, y'all, let's be clear about this, too. We're going to lose another election. The Democrats are going to continue to lose because y'all is still not learning. There is no better Democrat. The Democrats do not know how to talk to people. They don't. We have become an elite party, and I accuse myself of it as well. My situation is different because I'm not here to necessarily get Democrats elected. I'm here to tell black people how the government works. And in some of my conversations, I have to operate at a high level because this is not an elementary class. It's not. This radio show is not for everybody. It's for people that have a basic understanding and want to have a deeper understanding of how policy actually works. Because everybody's talking about, we need policy. You don't even know what policy really is, how it works, how much it costs, how difficult it is to enact, how hard it is to sustain, how hard its success is to measure, because policy success is measured in decades, not next week, let's check and see how things got better because somebody signed a bill into law or an executive order. It takes decades. Democrats don't know how to talk to people. And they're just going to blame the people on their stupidity. And while they are doing that, more and more men are falling behind and falling victim to a cult leader. All right, what does this here say? Not all these influencers like Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan, and Jordan Peterson. Joe Rogan, who in the very last minute endorsed Donald Trump. But here's the thing. This was not a Democrat problem. This was not a Kamala Harris problem. Maybe it was a Joe Biden problem. Joe Biden probably should have dropped out earlier. Maybe. I don't know. All that is hindsight. But if the Democrats don't know how to talk to people that Donald Trump had mesmerized. But here's the other thing. We got to give a shout out to race relations. I know this is going to seem out of left field, but let me be abundantly clear. Typically, and here's where the Democrats are still stuck somewhere in the 20th damn century. Typically, let me say men of color, especially black men and Latino men who have increased their vote share for Donald Trump, which was a shock to everybody. I mean, we heard the polls, we saw the polls, we're like, oh, that's not true. It was true. It was true more than I thought because even I denied it. Typically, Hispanic men and black men vote for Democrats on the issues of race. Because what the Democrats will do is they'll say, hey, America is racist. There's structural racism, there's institutional racism. We have supported civil rights laws and bills, and we have created, dedicated institutions to improving race relations, blah, 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 blah. Race relations have improved. I'm going to let y'all know a little secret that I probably shouldn't tell because we use this sometimes to get sympathy as black people. No black person is afraid of being black. When we leave the house, we are not concerned about, oh my God, the big bad whites are going to get us. The police are going to pull us over and shoot us. Most days that don't even cross our mind. We use racism, like we overinflate its prevalence in everyday life. I know there's the structural stuff and there's the institutional stuff, but we were born into the world of that, and our parents and our grandparents had it worse, so we actually have it better than them. And parents and grandparents, when they are raising children, they can't raise their black and brown children for an unknown future. Black parents and black grandparents raise their children for the world that they know. My parents were born in the pre-civil rights South. They didn't know what my life was going to be like now. They had no idea. They raised me to think like them because all they knew was their circumstances. They had to raise me to be prepared for the kind of racism that they saw. They didn't think it was going to disappear. They didn't think it was going to get better. So they raised me to be prepared for their worldview. It's dramatically better for me, to say the least. In every possible regard, it is better for me. My life is better. My chances are better. My trajectory is better than my parents. But we blame race all the time, even when we shouldn't. And y'all know that we do that. We do it. So we can blame somebody else. Either we're blaming the white people or blaming the racists. I'll be honest with you. It is probably harder to be a poor white person in a red state than to be a poor black person in a big blue Democratic city. If you're a poor black person in a big blue Democratic city, you're going to have flat screen TVs. You're going to have an iPhone. You're going to have a whole bunch of Jordans. You're probably going to get rent assistance. You're going to get energy assistance. You're going to get SNAP benefits. I mean, your life might suck a little bit because you're not rich. But if you're a poor white person in northern Alabama, there's no state benefits for you because you're represented by Republicans who don't believe in using tax dollars to help folks. Right? Let's talk to Security Mike. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Man, I'm still depressed, man. I want to ask you, though, what happened with the outcome of who's have Congress? Have they still voted? 2 states, have they voted yet?
Everybody has voted, but they're still counting the ballots in some California districts because it always takes them longer because of the number of mail-in votes that they have. Because you figure at this time in 2020, we still didn't know who the damn president was because we were still counting the mail-in ballots because everybody was using vote by mail from COVID. So in California, there's still a number of races to be, because we're not even a week out from the election. So there's still a number of votes to be counted in congressional elections in California, but the Republicans do have control of the U.S. Senate. So they do have that.
Yeah, they got the Senate. I'm just thinking that's the only hope we have if Hakeem Jeffries, we can come through and Hakeem Jeffries has.
Correct.
The Speaker of the House.
So it has not yet been determined, but right now the Democrats have either 199 or 204 seats in the House of Representatives. The Republicans have 212. The first one to 218 has the majority. Right now, with the races, the congressional races that are still undecided, it's tipping in the Republicans' favor. But we're not going to panic yet because they're still counting the votes. There's a slim possibility that the Democrats may get the majority in the House of Representatives where Hakeem Jeffries would be the speaker, but that window is closing quickly.
And then the only other hope is that the brothers and sisters on the street that I was hearing all that while, they're voting for the streets and one host. I remember saying back a few months back, I asked you, Sherwin, I said, what if they get 20% of the brothers and sisters vote? That ended up turning out. You were saying they wouldn't get that high of a vote. They got 20.
Brothers, not the sisters. Black women still voted for Kamala Harris 90-some%. So it was black.
I know. So that didn't hurt. But I only hope I think we got it to be like I told you so moment that things get so bad and these brothers and these Puerto Ricans flip back in 4 years because Trump messed it up so bad. Because he's got a good economy. Everything is great right now. And he won't have nobody to blame. He won't have nobody to blame if the tariffs come in and he actually does what he says and all of that. And they have it so hard here in these inner cities, and you don't see no change in the communities like certain hosts be talking about. Then we got a chance, I believe, because this guy it might be too messed up by the end.
I hope not, but I guess we have to wait and see, don't we?
It's sad, man. I ain't got over this yet. That's why that night I didn't come to the election thing, man. When I got it was done before then. Soon as she lost Georgia, right away I was listening to it in the patrol vehicle. Soon as she lost Georgia, I felt someone right. Sherwin. Right away I said, man, and when I went and voted at the polls over there, when you told me to go over to Clinton Road, all those new voters, they clapping and stuff for new voters. Yeah. You was right. They from the streets, they all went toward Trump.
They sure did.
There was a lot of 18-year-olds in there, and then this lady was like, oh, that's good, the young ones voting. I said, no, it's not good, because they going to vote for Trump. One little girl turned around looking at me, smiling and stuff. I knew it, man. And I'm so messed up. I mean, I'm going to be all right, because he's going to get that tax cut to the rich. I bet I get about a $2 or $3 raise, who I work with. Allied Universal, they're going to give us a good raise. But I don't care about that. It's sad, man. It's a sad day, man. We're here for a long 4 years, and then they say, well, it's only 4 years, man. Trump ain't going to leave. Trump ain't going to want to leave, man. Keep up the good work, Sherwin.
Thank you, Security Mike. I appreciate your call. All right, here's what I wanted to say. I didn't complete my thought. Black and Latino men didn't vote for Democrats because of the old school issues of race relations, and improving our conditions as minority men, because race relations have improved. A lot of Black and Latino men voted for economic populism. The only political party that offers that, Bernie Sanders kind of did, but Bernie Sanders had his own issues. Like, if you want the Democrats to be successful, we need someone who is 30 years younger, more articulate, more relatable, more laid back, more smart than Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was talking about economic populism. Do you guys remember how the youth gravitated toward Bernie Sanders and his really weird brand of progressivism? Bernie Sanders had the right message, but he was the wrong messenger. He was too old. And also, I had issues with Bernie Sanders because he failed to look at the impact of race, the intersectionality of race and economics. He only looked at the working class. The working class is being ignored. And now he's out here on an I told you so tour. So the Democrats over the whole weekend in the Sunday morning talk shows are just beating each other up, blaming each other, pointing fingers, and are losing more voters and more momentum by the moment. Black and Hispanic men voted for economic populism. They also voted for a particular kind of masculinity that Donald Trump offered. What is the complete antithesis to this masculinity that these men adhere to? Kamala Harris on the other side is literally a woman. They want to move as far away from that woman as possible, but also black men, and we know this, our lives are not made worse because we are black. You know what's crazy about this? We love being black. If you ask the black man, no matter what his situation is, if he would want to be another race, he would say no. Being black is fantastic. It ain't perfect, but it's really, really good. I asked y'all last year, remember that show that I did where I asked y'all to rate being black on a scale of 1 to 10, and like 90% of y'all said 10, 5% of y'all said 9, and anybody that said less than that is because of what potentially could happen to black people. Like the people that said, oh, it's only a 2 being black, and I asked them why. Well, because a cop killed a black man in Oregon 3 years ago. I'm like, what does that have to do with you? Well, nothing. We as black men are more worried about being broke than being black. Donald Trump said, hey, the migrants are your problem. We're going to get the migrants out of here because they're taking your jobs, and Joe Biden's inflation is killing you. That resonated with us. And Donald Trump has this toxic kind of masculinity that a lot of black men that feel helpless and hopeless adhere to. That is how we lost black men. White women, whole other story. I'm not even going to try to analyze them. Black men don't want to be broke. Donald Trump offered economic populism. He basically said in us versus them, it's these people coming into this country. And I heard the falsehoods repeated constantly. Sure, when they're coming over here and they're getting benefits. No, they're not. Sure, when they're coming over here and they're voting. No, they're not. Sure, when they're coming over here and getting free money. No, they're not. You have to be of specific legal status to get anything out of this country. You think that somebody just shows up here from the borders like, hello, what is my check, please? What is my condominium? I would like to live with an ocean view. That's not how it works. And we know that's not how it works. But when people are disaffected, they are much more likely to believe lies. That is how we lost the election, with a certain segment of people. And here's the thing, that segment, this new segment, the people that are voting on economic populism and not voting on race, the Democrats have to up their game and change their message and stop making about, hey, people of color, come and vote for the Democrats because we're a party of diversity. Here's another thing I'm learning about diversity. People don't necessarily like it. People don't like diversity. They don't care about that. I mean, we notice it. I'm going to use myself as an example, and I probably shouldn't. It's the fatal flaw of every radio host, using themselves as an example. It's great if you put me in a diverse room with men and women and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and black people and light-skinned black people and dark-skinned black people. And so you got to have some Asians in there and throw in some Asians. Have some white people. Have a couple of gays swinging from the chandelier. That's great. Oh, wow, this room is very diverse. You know what I'd rather have? People of any race that are like-minded about finance, money, and investing. That's the room that I would rather be in, because I would get more from that room than having a room full of diverse people. Not that I can't get a lot from the diverse room. I'm sure I could. Learn how to swing from a chandelier. I probably could learn a few things, but I want to be in a room full of like-minded people. I don't care what your race is. I want to be in a room with people that see the world as I do. I don't care if they're all Asian. I don't care if they're all from the garbage island of Puerto Rico. Nobody cares about diversity like that. In fact, most people repel it. We want to be around our people. Sometimes our people are the ones that look like us. Sometimes our people are the ones that have the same education as us. Sometimes our people are families that have kids because you want to relate to other families that have kids. The Democrats double down on diversity. We're the diversity party. Black and Hispanic men voted on their pocketbooks. Inflation has hit them. And when you look at real wages being down in the last 50 years, Black and Hispanic men make less money now, adjusted for inflation, than their fathers did, than their grandfathers did. Trump was promising them a different economic situation. That's why Trump, being a businessman, actually comes in. Even though he's a terrible businessman, people equate businessman to rich to wealthy. Trump is going to make me wealthy too. And I know that a lot of y'all that I'm talking to can completely see through that argument, and you know that it's false and erroneous, but we're talking about a whole different group of people here that they believe what Donald Trump was selling. And Donald Trump is going to get rid of the migrants too, which provides more, they think, economic security. Black and Hispanic men did not vote on issues of race and diversity. They voted on economic populism. The next Democrat has got to do the exact same thing. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Ashley. Ashley, you hang on for a second. We're going to play these little ads, these little commercials. We're going to come right back to you. If you want to be like Ashley or Bob or JD the Poet, our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. You can call or you can text. You also can join us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search The Truth with Sherwin Hughes and hit subscribe. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Fathers, grandfathers, future fathers, and father figures, bring your families and join Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit Saturday, November 16th at Milwaukee Academy of Science from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Don't miss this one-stop shop resource fair connecting Milwaukee families with job opportunities, child support help, health education and screenings, financial empowerment, legal assistance, and fatherly inspiration. The featured speaker is Pastor Kenneth Locke from Evolve Church. Bring your teens and learn about internships, jobs, and local mentoring opportunities. Register to be eligible to win gift cards, so don't wait. Gifts and prizes will also be available for families during the event. Pre-register today by visiting milwaukee.gov/fatherhood to join us as a participant and exhibitor, or to support the Fatherhood Summit as a volunteer. That is milwaukee.gov/fatherhood. See you Saturday, November 16th at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit, sponsored by the City of Milwaukee, Brewers Community Foundation, and Ascension, Wisconsin.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
Craving something mouthwatering? Head to Munchie's, Milwaukee's finest quick service eatery. You'll love their gourmet egg rolls, wings, loaded fries, and fried fish. And don't miss their signature pasta dishes and soul food options. Plus, ask about their upcoming pound cake line. They're open Wednesday to Saturday, 12 to 6 p.m. Visit Munchie's on site. Call in your order or get delivery. Follow Munchie's on Facebook and Instagram at Munchie's Detroit Style. Check out their website at munchiesdetroitstyle.com. Munchie's, where your cravings meet satisfaction.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Robert says, Sherwin, is it true that Kamala blew $1 billion of campaign donations? $100 million spent on campaign staff and still no word on the 300,000 missing immigrant children. I don't know nothing about no 300,000 missing immigrant children, but I'm going to tell you this much. Once the Trump border policies go into effect, there's going to be way more missing kids than that. His name is, I got the article here somewhere, Tom Homan. You know how Donald Trump was denying Project 2025? He didn't know what it was. He never heard of it. Y'all believe that? Did y'all tell me you didn't believe it? The man that authored listen to me now, the family separation policy, rip these parents and these children apart. The man that authored that, okay, that policy, implemented by Stephen Miller in Donald Trump's first term. You need to listen and listen good. Not only is he a writer of Project 2025, he has now been appointed Donald Trump's border czar. One of the authors of Project 2025 is the first person that Donald Trump is nominating to be head of his cabinet. This is the man that authored the family separation policy. It is cruel and it is inhumane, but because black men, Hispanic men voted on economic populism, we don't care if families get split up, which is mind-blowing because how many of us come from split-up-ass families? This is why, they needed a better Democrat, would miss the mark completely. They just needed somebody that, for what the Democrats were running on, Donald Trump had 8 years to sharpen his message, and he sharpened it. Going on podcasts like Joe Rogan, talking to people like Theo Vaughn, he was talking directly to these men. This is where these men go. This is where they get their information. This is where they get their wild, crazy conspiracy theories about everything. Donald Trump went and sat with Joe Rogan for 3 hours. Probably one of the most genius things that Donald Trump has ever done. And they just talked about weird, normal, regular stuff. Wasn't a lot of policy, wasn't a lot of politics. Donald Trump just being insane and unhinged. Kamala Harris was offered to talk to Joe Rogan. Didn't work out for his schedule because they wanted Joe Rogan to go to her. That's usually how it works. She's the vice president of the United States. You don't get the vice president to always come to you. Donald Trump, for the most part, is just a citizen who's a convicted felon. Donald Trump did have the ability to go sit with Joe Rogan for 3 hours. The vice president of the United States did not have that luxury. She only had 108 days, 107 days for a whirlwind campaign. And yeah, they did spend 108 or $1.8 billion. That's not unheard of. $100 million for campaign staff, Rob, if your figure is accurate, I would say that's a little low. Yeah, that's about right. Let's talk to Ashley. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Hi, I'm here. I guess I just wanted to comment on, my state post-election. I don't know. I feel like, I feel like I'm just here. Like I'm just, at this point, my hands are in the air, like it's above me now. And I'm not trying to have that energy because we've always, as black people and black women specifically, been a major part of any movement, whether it was for the plight of black people or just disenfranchised people, period. But at this point, after this election, like my hands are in the air. You saw it was us that needed the assistance. We needed that love that we give to everyone else, and it just was not reciprocated. And I'm trying so hard not to be like, okay, I'll wash my hands. Whatever happens, happens. Because a part of me, honestly, and it sounds horrible, I'm excited to see people suffer the consequences of their actions of voting for this man. A part of me is excited to see it, even though I'm going to suffer the consequences as well. But that's where I am. But I'm trying not to be there, and I'm trying to figure out how not to be there and still be a part of this movement and making things happen. But I really am tired. So I guess I'm just looking for a little encouragement to not give up on my people, I guess. Not even my people, just everything, and just focus on myself, I guess. So,
nothing wrong with
that's
that.
That's all I had to say.
Well, actually, nothing wrong with focusing on yourself, and I completely understand and can relate to your frustration. But let me give you this bit of optimism. Black women showed up and showed out. Y'all did exactly what you were supposed to do. The reason why Donald Trump got reelected was completely out of the control of black women. Y'all showed up unlike any other constituency group in America, and for that, you all should be very proud. But what we were dealing with Donald Trump and Trumpism was bigger than that. White women don't see themselves as women first. They see themselves as white first, because if women just work together, and I'm not blaming black women, if white women would have got with y'all, and just a couple more percentage points of white women said, you know what, maybe if we come together, just a few more of us come together with other women, because women are going to suffer a similar fate, black, white, Latina, Asian. If just a few more white women said, maybe let's just work together with them on this election, then we can go back to talking about each other behind each other's backs. If a few more white women would have done that, it would be a whole different story, and we would be a bunch of joyful warriors. But it's not y'all. You did everything you were supposed to do.
And yes, I feel everything you're saying, and it's just funny that now that everything has, we know who the next president will be. You still have people, okay, now that doesn't mean we can't be friends. Let's join together just because I vote for it. No, if you vote for that man, you're literally telling me that you don't care about me or my wellness or my children or anything that has to do with me. So, yes, it is that serious to cut you off. I think it's crazy that they're gaslighting people now. Like, oh, yeah, I voted for Donald Trump, but that doesn't mean you have to cut me. Yes, it does. I mean, it does mean I have to cut you off. I feel like as a people, black women specifically, I'll say, and I won't even say that we're being blind to everything. I feel like we're just very empathetic beings. I feel like that's a magical superpower that everybody doesn't possess. But we also have to have discernment. And if people show that they don't care about us, we got to cut that off, and they don't deserve this empathy that we give.
100%.
So, yes, I just thank you, Sherwin, for your show. And I just needed all of this throughout this process because I was really hurt, but I'm finding solace with the whole situation.
You call us back every day if you need to, Ashley.
Okay. Thank you, Sherwin. Bye.
Bye-bye. People made a choice in this election. If you are going to vote for someone who is a threat to all of us, a threat to women, a threat to democracy, a threat to sanity, a threat to morality, someone who is completely unfit, someone who has chosen meanness and division over optimism and collaboration. If you chose to vote for that, okay, because that was a choice you made, we can make a choice to cut you out of our lives. See, there's consequences to your choices, just like this election is going to have consequences. Hear me and hear me good. Vote for whoever you want to vote for. And I know I've said that on a number of occasions. I told you who I was voting for, and I told you why. But you have that choice. Your vote will have a consequence. It may have a political consequence. It may have a personal consequence. You may lose friends. You may lose family. But remember, you made the choice. You do not get both worlds. You don't get to vote for Donald Trump and then all the people that you hurt with your vote all get to be friends with you. No. You sold them out with your vote. Just know that. Be happy that you voted. Be proud of your vote. Stand on it. Now, you will lose some things, but you had to know that going into the voting booth, and you made the choice to shun those people that you hurt. Linda asked in the YouTube chat, what did Linda promise, or what did Donald Trump offer black men? Hope. Hope that your money is going to go further. Hope that inflation is going to go down. Hope that these migrants get the hell out of here and stop taking your welfare benefits. Hope. That's it. No policy, no plan, nothing specific for black men. I want you to understand how powerful hope is. The way that Donald Trump offered the hope was vile and divisive, and it was an outright bold-faced lie, but it was hope. Trump is going to get rid of these people. He's going to send them back. They over here taking all the benefits and taking all the jobs, which we know is categorically false. But again, we're talking to vulnerable people. Black men hate being broke. We love being black. Because we love being black and we don't fear being black, the Democrats offering the racial equality and the diversity was not hitting with us. Money issues, economic issues, pocketbook issues, lowering inflation, us having more jobs and more opportunities because we're blaming the migrants, and so was Donald Trump. That's hopeful for us. Guess who else used hope and won? Obama! Hope works. If you give somebody hope, you don't need to give them a policy. If you give somebody hope, then they'll hate who you hate. If you give somebody hope, they'll follow you wherever you go, even into the burning pits of hell. If you give somebody hope, you have a friend for life. Take a break, and I'll come back and talk to Ron, Brian, and Al on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Going out like a sucker, no way.
College Month on Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on the award-winning 1017 The Truth is presented by Educators Credit Union and Concordia University, Wisconsin. Now, here is Dr. Ken Harris to talk about how your scholar can get some dollars.
What are some of the things that we need to really focus on to get our fair share of these opportunities, i.e. access to capital?
You know, it's very important to always think about building a strong business plan, understanding the financial parameters around what you're trying to accomplish, building great networks and great relationships so you can have partnerships and building out your dream. And then finding a good financial partner like Old National to help really orchestrate your vision of the organization. And then, as you know, DT, you wouldn't be where you're at because you're phenomenal, doing great work. And then you have to really have to go to work. If you have that dream, you have that vision, the business plan, the financial piece, then you have to really work at it and keep building.
Learn more about the Old National Bank Small Business Empowerment Loan by visiting oldnational.com/small business or contact a small business banker at Old National Bank.
All insurance companies, they want to know where are your cars housed. Right. They want to know how far are you driving to get to and from work every day. Mm-hmm. They want to know all these different things for weather patterns. Are you living in northern Wisconsin or are you living down in Tornado Alley somewhere in Kentucky? These things make a difference as to how your insurance rates are formed. I need you to be factual, and every single time somebody commits these different frauds, it all adds up, and everybody ends up paying the price for it down the road.
Erie Insurance, providing the protection you need and the service you expect, all at a great price.
Ready to glow? RN2 Go Medical Services has you covered. With a top-notch team, including a skilled RN and medical doctor, they offer personalized treatments just for you. Feel fantastic with exceptional post-op care, invigorating IV hydration therapy, and vitamin injections. Enjoy advanced skincare, effective weight loss programs, and beauty enhancements like Botox, fillers, and PDO threads. Rejuvenate with PRP therapy and sculpt your dream body with cutting-edge body sculpting treatments. Why wait? Visit DestinationAestheticsMKE.com now to book your appointment. Your new radiant self is just a click away.
Milwaukee faces significant wealth gaps, but change is possible. Join entrepreneur Arlo Washington on November 13th for a transformative discussion on building wealth in underserved communities. Featured in the Oscar-nominated documentary The Barber of Little Rock, Washington's insights are a must-hear. Attend for free, in person or online. Get your ticket at uwm.edu/SCE. Sponsored by the Tommy G. Thompson Center on Public Leadership and hosted by UWM School of Continuing Education.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Marcel says, I spoke to an older Mexican gentleman in his 80s who was born in the Valley of Texas, towns and cities that are bordering Mexico. He said he spoke to Mexicans there after the election to try and figure out what happened, it was like 95% Trump. And they're worried about immigration because they say the ones crossing the border are undercutting the hourly wages of illegal Mexicans. If they're doing a job for $7 an hour, the illegal immigrants are doing the same job for $5 an hour. They're looking at the election as a single issue to vote on. Marcel thought that was interesting. Now I'm wondering, Marcel, the older Mexican gentleman that you spoke to in his 80s, are these Mexican citizens that are being under? I'd imagine they are, right? Because if you're not an American citizen, you can't vote. But I think we missed a lot of that. I think that the Democrats really doubled down on, we're diversity, and we're going to have, for LGBTQ, we're going to respect your rights, and for African-American men, we got a 15-page plan for you. Donald Trump was way more simple with it. And that's the other problem that the Democrats have. We're going to have to start picking constituents that we double down on. And we thought that women and women's reproductive rights and the Dobbs decision and Roe versus Wade would be a bigger issue. The economy was a bigger issue with women than their own reproductive rights. Didn't nobody see that coming? Reproductive rights was like 14% of women said that was their main issue. 38% of women said the economy was their issue. So Donald Trump said, we're going to lower inflation, we're going to lower the price of eggs, and we're going to send the Mexicans back and all the migrants back. That was enough. That was enough. And it was easy to say. It was easy for people to digest. It's very simple. Inflation is too high. Joe Biden sucks on the economy. The border is messed up. Kamala Harris is the borders are. Kamala Harris is for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. Done. That's it. Easy. Simple. You can be a jerk and be a felon all you want to if you have a message that's that easy. Now, America is way more complicated than that, but let me be abundantly clear. Donald Trump doesn't really care to implement really any of that stuff. He is going to do the mass deportations. He's going to do that, but here's the thing, it's going to happen, and people are going to pretend to be like, oh my God, that's awful, we have to stop him. Ain't none of y'all going to stop the mass deportation, and families will be getting ripped apart. It's probably happening right now under the Biden administration, and don't nobody even care about it. Let's talk to Ron from the South Side. Ron, you're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call, Sherwin. Man, listen, I want you to walk with me for a little bit. Okay, so this is the first time I ever remember black people talking about illegal immigration. They've never talked about that before until the Cheetos started talking about that. I don't remember any election where black people were in the barber shops and the beauty shops and Walmart talking about, these illegal immigrants over here. They never talked about that. And all of a sudden they started parakeeting that and saying that was a major issue. I know I heard it on Low Show, and then my brother started talking about it. And I'm just wondering, since they're saying that they're going to be this big massive deportation, the benefits and stuff that they was given to the illegals in Chicago, LA, and other places, they said, are these people that voted for Trump, these black people I'm talking about, are going to go with their hat in their hand and say, hey, since you got rid of illegals, can you start giving us those benefits? What do you think the administration is going to say? They're going to look at you like, well, get up out my face. That's number one. So, number two, people fell out with me. My family members fell out with me because I didn't vote for Trump. So, to be petty, I'm like, if you want to cut me off, I'm going to cut you off. You want to talk to me? So when the sister says that, she don't want to go that far as cutting people off, or half of her wants to see, what's going to happen since these people vote for Trump, I'm kind of feeling that too. I want to sit back and see if these people are going to appreciate everything that the hell that's going to come down, which is predicted to come down. How are they going to feel after that? So the last thing is, if you would indulge me on the conspiracy thing, you said Trump went to Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan is all over the place with space and aliens and all that stuff, and all that. So what do you think about this? Elon Musk is a big conspiracy guy. He's a big tech guy, I should say, not conspiracy, because tech. He just showed up in Donald Trump's world. Now he's right next to Donald Trump, right? So Elon's a SpaceX guy. He's got cars that drive themselves. He's working on, dolls that can replace humans and all that. Russia was known to interfere with elections. Now Russia, Trump, and Elon is a trio. Elon and our ballots and electronics, what do you think about that being interfered with?
No.
Russia was already into that.
No, we over here sounding like no. I'm honest with you.
I said conspiracy.
No, no. Our elections are safe and secure, and voting machines are not connected to the internet. They all are on flash drives. So no, we're gonna stop that right now. We ain't gonna sound like them. We're not going to sound like the Republicans in 20. Brother, Kamala Harris and the Democrats lost this election because they do not know how to talk to people. It is not a conspiracy. She lost. She lost everywhere. Yeah. She lost in places where, let's say there was a conspiracy theory to cheat. She lost in places where there was no need to cheat.
They said that she won no battleground states at all.
None.
And then right before it was like 750, I saw Donald Trump was damn near 100 or something up to her. She wasn't even pushing the 70.
Yeah.
That blew my mind right there. So I went to bed kind of early. It's just something to think about. All right, bro. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it. All right. So here's the cost of rounding up an illegal immigrant. First, you got to find them. You got to round them up. You got to detain them, and you got to find their transportation back to whatever country you're sending them to. You know how much money that costs? $20,000 per person. Okay? They want to deport 11 million people. That's $200 billion. Okay? When they're gone, it's not like you're going to get their employment opportunities, but where do you think the money is going to come from? No, ask yourself this question, those of you that want the people deported because they're taking your job. Where's the money going to come from to deport them? From the Department of Education. When they cut that, that's the money they're going to use to deport the migrants. You know who studies and investigates discrimination in schools? The Department of Education. So you're trading that to get rid of the migrants. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hello, Milwaukee. Did you know that the average American doesn't get enough fiber in their diet, and this can affect everything from your cholesterol, blood sugar, and your weight? We have a special offer for Truth listeners that you can take advantage of today on our wonderful fiber gummies. Buy one bottle of fiber gummy for $13.50 and get free shipping. Call now, 800-632-0559. That's 800-632-0559. Or go to invitehealth.com and use promo code MIL1. That's MIL1. Get your gummy today.
What's good, y'all? This is 1017 The Truth's Telly Hughes, and I am Milwaukee. The goal of Truth Be Told with DT and Telly is to provide a platform for citizens of Milwaukee and Truth Nation to have their voices heard about concerns that have daily, direct impact. So join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Truth Nation, let us take a second to brag for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like President Joe Biden.
Black child poverty was cut in half in 2021. We built black wealth, 15 million jobs nationwide, more than 2.5 million for black Americans. Black wealth is up 60% since the pandemic.
Former President Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump.
Guys, we almost had a former president and very likely future president assassinated on live TV. Like, you know what that would have done for this country? You know what that would have made our country look like? We would look like a banana republic.
And Brewers All-Star and former National League MVP Christian Yelich.
Listen, you already know.
Yeah, we got we were just in LA, so we heard our fair share of Kendrick out there in LA. Dodger Stadium has one of the best sound systems in baseball too.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app, listening live on 1017thetruth.com, and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. In response to, I'm not sure who sent this. Don. Yes, the Democrats lost. But they lost so they were off base with their message, but there also was a nobility to the campaign. And that the Democrats did not want to lie to people to win. You understand that? This is how far we have come as a country when it comes to our morality. We want to be lied to. As long as you make us feel good, like we're in a dysfunctional relationship with our political leaders. Because here's the thing, we know they're lying. You know that Trump is lying. It is all he has done. But for some reason, if the lie makes you feel good, if Donald Trump gets rid of the migrants and then maybe you'll get a job and then Donald Trump is going to control inflation, so eggs and bacon. I'm so tired of hearing about eggs and bacon. Do y'all even eat that much eggs and bacon? When the eggs and the bacon is too expensive. Stop eating eggs and bacon. You need more fruit and vegetables in your life. And the eggs and the bacon, and is Donald Trump going to make the bacon $1 cheaper? Good God almighty. The Democrats didn't have they weren't trying to gain from lying to you. Donald Trump don't even respect you. Let me do you one better. The Harris campaign, really this whole administration had a lot of respect for us. They did. And not many people respect Milwaukee black folk. They don't. Y'all know that. You don't believe me? Go travel to another part of the country, another part of the world. Tell people where you're from. Their first response when they hear where you're from, it is not a response of respect. They respected us. I interviewed the President of the United States. Not many people can say that. But when they respect the people and respect the platform, they'll give you their time. I don't know if people really appreciate how difficult a President of the United States is. I got an interview with Joe Biden. Nobody else in this damn company, and I think Good Karma Brands is in 11 cities. He respected Milwaukee. I personally did 4 interviews with Madam Vice President, some of which stretch back to the year 2022. Carrie and Ben even got an interview with Madam Vice President. She respects us, respects this platform, respects the truth, respects you as an audience. Trump ain't come here once. You need me to say that again? When the candidate respects the audience and the platform, they make time. That's a half dozen interviews between the president and the vice president across 2 different shows. Donald Trump didn't come here once. He didn't call. Nothing. He didn't do a recorded interview and email it in. What does that tell you? The Democrats at least had a level of respect, and they wanted to be honest. Trump does not care. He illustrated that by his lack of appearance here on 1017 The Truth. And look, he had people pulling for him here. Kamala Harris had people pulling for her here, and she wanted to talk to us and talk to you all because of respect. If the candidate don't show up, if they don't come to a city, why do we get mad at Hillary in 2016? Because she disrespected us by not coming to Milwaukee. She didn't come to Milwaukee at all, and Hillary Clinton has never won Wisconsin. You don't win Wisconsin without winning Milwaukee. That's usually true. You do well in Milwaukee, you're going to win the entire state. Madison just does its own thing. Madison damn near carries all the Democratic votes for the states now. Madison's the only county where the referendum to ban illegals from voting failed. We don't like to be disrespected. We're a very prideful people. Hillary Clinton, when she ran in 2008 against Barack Obama during the primary, she lost Wisconsin. You would think that she would respect us enough in Milwaukee to come to Milwaukee during 2016. She lost in 2016 to Bernie Sanders, of all people. She didn't come because she didn't respect us. She didn't do any appearances. She didn't do no rallies. She didn't do no black radio. The whole election cycle of 2016, when people just knew she was going to be the president, That's a matter of respect. Kamala Harris came here, talked to Kerry and Ben, talked to me. Joe Biden came here, talked to me. That's respect. Trump didn't come once, and he had mad allies here at the Truth. And shout out to them. I'm just trying to illustrate the contrast now. And if black folks think, let me say what you're going to get. So to pay for the migrants leaving, so your SNAP benefits, see ya, you're out of here. Bye-bye, no more SNAP. Are your kids eating lunch at school? Bye-bye. That's in Project 2025. No more lunch for your kids in school. Hope you got enough money for eggs and bacon. Hope the inflation goes down for your eggs and the bacon. Hope gas prices are cheap so you can drive to get your eggs and bacon from, I don't know, the eggs and bacon farm. They're going to eliminate the Department of Education, and they got to find a way to pay for the deportation of the migrants, and they're going to cut programs that we use. Donald Trump is, here's one thing I do believe, that he is going to use the U.S. military as a police force in urban areas. Who do you think that's for? Who do you think that's for? And all the issues that we have with crime, have any of us ever called for the damn U.S. military to come and patrol Milwaukee? And let me give you a little information about the U.S. military. When they bring the Marines and the Army to the city of Milwaukee, because Donald Trump said Milwaukee is terrible. They're not fixing crime in Milwaukee. We're going to send in the Marines. When the Milwaukee police are on scene and the Marines show up, okay, the Milwaukee policemen are like, hey, Marines, no, we got the situation under control. We got it. You think the Marines are like, okay, local cops with your hand-me-down police equipment that's a hand-me-down from the U.S. military? These Marines might come and shoot Milwaukee cops. But it's the sacrifices that we make, I guess, so that the migrants go away. Let's talk to Brian. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You made some valid points, but like I told you last week, none of that's really going to happen. It's not to the extreme that you guys are gaslighting. It's not going to happen to that extreme. And one other thing
specifically,
you need to
know, what's not going to happen?
That mass deportation.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, my God, yes, it is. You know who deported more people than Donald Trump? You know who deported more people?
Obama.
Look, deported more people than every president in the 20th century combined. And guess what? We didn't even hear about it. Obama deported more. Listen to me when I say this, Brian. I'm saying it to you and everybody else. He deported more people than every president combined in the 20th century. And when we see Obama, we clap for him. We happy when we see him, meaning the Trump administration is going to be able to deport more, and we're not even going to know about it. So, yeah, it's going to happen. And it's going to kill the American economy because we're not going to fill those damn jobs. Black men are already worried about being broke. Do you think that we're going to go and do minimum wage jobs because there's no more migrants here to fill them? Come on now. We ain't doing them damn jobs now. That's why they got to get the migrants.
Right.
I know brothers that would rather sell dope and sell women's bodies than work a farm labor job for $7.25. And guess what, Brian? You know that I'm right.
Oh, yeah. You're right exactly. To a certain degree on certain things. Now, as far as the immigrant thing, I'm going to tell you something. The reason the Trump administration won is because of, I'm going to tell you, Black Talk Radio. Black Talk Radio is the reason they won. They heard the varying opinions of a diverse group of people. You had certain people that were against transgenderism, and you had certain people that were against other narratives. And I would say that Winky Blue brought out the immigrant thing to the black population before anybody. He'd been talking about the immigrant thing for 2 to 3 years, so shout out to him.
You think that Winky Blue, who nobody knows except a handful of people in Milwaukee, had an impact on the national election? Brian, let me just clear this up for you because I think you're living in a fantasy world because you're a Trump supporter. White women elected Donald Trump. You can tell yourself that black, because you want to have a conversation. Brian, stop talking for a second. Stop talking, Brian. I had to hang up on him. It's unbelievable how starved we are for affection and attention as black men that we think that we had some kind of hand in Donald Trump getting reelected. White people reelected Donald Trump. For the first time in probably a generation, white people made up a 71% share of the electorate. And I can't even square that math because white people are not even 71% of the American population. They were overrepresented in people that came out to vote. They voted their race more than their pocketbook. Black and Latino men voted their pocketbook more than their race. So if you want to talk about how Donald Trump won, that was it. The immigrant issue was just a way for people that have made bad choices in life, have been dealt a bad hand, to channel their anger, to blame somebody else for their shortcomings. And here's the thing. If you're a responsible person, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, why the hell are you blaming a migrant? Go get it if you want it. Go work harder. Go get another job. Go back to school. What you blaming somebody else for? We don't do that. Blaming somebody else for your misfortune. That's pathetic. You got white folks doing that too. White folks, you sound a lot like minorities. Y'all that patina is starting to fit y'all real good. It's because of the migrants. It's them. No, a lot of times it's actually you. It's you did it. Let's talk to Al. You're on 101.7 The Truth. Thank you for holding. How are you?
I'm doing good. First of all, before anything, you need action before you need hope. Because most of the people who complain about migrants, they don't have no action, or they don't want to say, I don't want to work for slave wages. I also was reading, they talked about it's going to be an investigation on the ballots in some states, because some states ran out, and they sent emails and tried to call in reference to that. The people did not call them back. Also, I've seen that a lot of black Republicans, straight and gay, were getting upset because MAGA 24 said you will never be part of this family, and we just use you for your vote. And this is how you know reality is real, when the fetish ends. Those black Republicans said, I don't care what you say. I'm still going to stand with you. Even when they told you, we don't like you. Now, I did hear another person bring up Winky Blue, but I was going to tell you, and I was going to bring it up last week, I have heard on some Black Talk Radio from other callers and on the streets that we do have a second Winky Blue, and they've been referring to Tory Lowe. Have you heard that?
No.
Because that's what I've been hearing. And it made me think about it. When you become a compromiser and a sympathizer, your words and your integrity is tainted. And I do recall when people would bring up certain situations about Project 2025, and an individual will say that's part of the Harris Foundation, when we knew it was dealing with Trump. It says something about your integrity, which means your words and your integrity and your pride is tarnished. And also, I wanted to say, how do you do a 180 so fast from the start of who you are? You do a 180 so fast that you need a neck brace from whiplash. So I want to say, in honor of other people who called that out, that is a new calling, because you took Black Talk Radio and you bamboozled black people to push Master's legacy. And when it comes to black men, your integrity and your worth is all that you got. But when you go out your way to lie, not because you had to, but because you wanted to, it says something about the person, which means your words can't be trusted. That makes you a double agent. So now we got to pay attention to the number 2 of Winky Blue. And I want all y'all to have yourself a wonderful day, because the proof is always in the pudding when it comes to evil. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Al, for that. Terrence says Trump did appear on other black podcasts nationally. He didn't have to come here. He knew he had rural Wisconsin. No, that's faulty logic, Terrence. Let me tell you why. Donald Trump did a rally in Madison Square Garden, and New York is one of the bluest states in the country. Didn't Trump go to New Jersey too? Where else did he go? The battleground states were not guaranteed, and he knew that. That's why he spent so much time in Pennsylvania and in Michigan. He didn't come to Wisconsin the same reason why Hillary Clinton didn't come to Wisconsin. No respect. Yeah, he was going to get rural Wisconsin, but he also lost some of rural Wisconsin in 2020. He was here he was in Milwaukee several times. very close to where we are right now at the 3rd Street Market Hall, but never came here, never called in, because candidates have downtime where they make phone calls and they call on the radio shows, because the hits, we call them hits when a candidate calls in, they're like 6 or 7 minutes. You mean to tell me that Donald Trump and all the times he was in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin couldn't call into any black radio station here for 7 minutes? He didn't want to. But he went other places in Milwaukee, he went other places in Wisconsin. He was showing complete disrespect for black talk radio listeners. Because I'll be honest with you, in the beginning of the election cycle, I was like, if I get the chance to interview Trump, I absolutely would. I would not turn that interview down. Rob and Dion, you guys hang on, I got to take a break. And when I come back, I'm going to grab their telephone calls, but also, so this was from August 29th, 2016. Donald Trump's immigration plan is set to be announced later this week. This is for Donald Trump's first term. And if previous comments are any indication, the Republican presidential contender said he plans to focus on deporting criminals similar to the current strategy of the Barack Obama administration. President Barack Obama has often been referred to by immigration groups as the deporter-in-chief. Between 2009 and 2015, the Barack Obama administration had removed more than 2.5 million people through immigration orders, which does not include the number of people who self-deported or who were turned away and or returned to their home country at the border by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Obama did more mass deportations than Donald Trump did. And I think that's stuck in Donald Trump's craw. He's mad that Obama did more deportations than him. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Truth Nation, it is Denise Thomas from Truth Be Told with DT and Telly, and I am so excited for you to tune in to our monthly interview with Old National Bank. Old National Bank will be joining us to discuss why they are so committed to supporting women and people of color-owned businesses, while also discussing their Empowerment Loan Program, which can provide your business access to funds up to $5 million. So don't miss our Truth Be Told monthly interview with Old National Bank at 8 a.m. on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place? You know, that spot that only you know about? And instead of what you came for, you found something a little different? What if instead of your private stash, you found a simple phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Would you make the call? The truth is, all drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, before drugs turn your life upside down, before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. If you or someone you love is struggling with drug use or prescription drug misuse, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/thereishelp.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as one business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
Are you an African American or Hispanic adult with elevated A1C and currently treating your type 2 diabetes? The University of Wisconsin needs your help to participate in Enrich, a diabetes research study which may involve working with a pharmacist and or a community health worker. Most discussions will be held over the phone. All participants will receive compensation. For more information, call Delicia now at 414-550-1016. That's 414-550-1016 and ask Delicia about Enrich.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I probably should have listened to hour 3 of my show on Friday, but I was under the weather. Carrie was talking about how would the roles be reversed, right? If black people went to Europe and got slaves, and us black folks, we'd have black superiority in this country. Yeah, of course, I think we'd have been great slave owners of white people. But we didn't happen, so whatever. But you know what I find incredibly ironic, and this is why I know we're not going to get anything as black folks. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're going to get what we deserve collectively. And let me be clear with this. We are all in this together, ladies and gentlemen. We are all in this. Donald Trump won the election. He won by a lot. He won the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. A Republican has not won the popular vote in 20 years, and Donald Trump won it. The election was not fake. It wasn't fraudulent. There was no cheating. The Democrats lost. Donald Trump won. Okay? We know that there's going to be separations of families because the individual who authored the border separation policy in Donald Trump's first term has recently been named Donald Trump's border czar. He also is one of the co-authors of Project 2025. So for those of you that believe the lies, and a lot of you did, that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Project 2025, his first selection to his cabinet is one of the authors of Project 2025. Also the man that authored the family separation policy. Let me tell you how hypocritical we are and how hypocrites get nothing when it comes to their due in American history. Y'all know they separated our families too, right? You know, they separated mamas from daddies, children from grandparents when we were on the plantation. You know that we suffered, and it tore our community apart even to this day, because we as black people, while we were building this nation in bondage, had our children taken away from us, and the scars of that live in our DNA right now. Fast forward to 2024. We actually, some of us, are okay with that same child-parent separation policy right now. That's insane to me. You know how they laugh at us? They're like, wow, we did this same child separation policy with these N-words back in slavery, and lo and behold, they support us doing it to Mexicans, and they laugh at us. But now here's the thing. We're all in this together. Donald Trump is going to punish us all equally. I just want you to know how they see us, because that's how I would see somebody that was traumatized for hundreds of years because they took our children. They sold our children. They will be separating children from their families, and black folks should be the first ones saying, that's not right, that's immoral. We had to deal with it for 200 years. We could never support a policy that does to some other people what happened to us. That's insane to me. That is. All right, let's talk to Dion. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
What's going on, Sherwin? How you doing?
Doing all right. What's going on with you?
Let me see. So I do have a couple of comments, and I got a question, because I don't understand how people be mad at the immigrants, as they say, come over here taking the jobs, when the immigrants is not forcing the employer to hire them. So the employers, the ones that the people should be mad at. Another thing.
Wait, hold on, Dion. I want to make sure I understand you correctly. Who is forcing who to hire who?
No, I said that the immigrants are not forcing the employers to hire them.
You're right.
So people should be mad at the employers, not the immigrants, because they coming over here just to get jobs or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe in all that. And then another thing is that I believe if people would have read more into Project 2025, I don't think that they probably would have voted the way they did, because there's going to be a lot of people. And the one gentleman said something about Project 2025, but, you know, they was doing it on a local level in some of the southern states. Now they're about to do it on a federal level, you know, and a lot of rural white people are going to suffer from that, whether they believe it or not. And the last thing, well, one more thing. No, there's two more things. Ain't one of the Supreme Courts, once she's thinking about retiring or something, or stepping down, that's going to be terrible. And we better be careful.
Are you talking about Justice Sotomayor? They want her to step down and put Kamala Harris on the Supreme Court. That's what.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Oh, okay. Okay. And we better be careful and look at what they did over there in South Africa during the apartheid, because they talking about gutting the civil rights. They talking about gutting the civil rights, I think, committee or legislation or whatever that they got. So, you know, it's going to be a bumpy ride, though. But I feel like the first caller, her name was Ashley, I believe. Yeah. I do want to sit back and watch other people suffer and be like, well, I told you so. You're sitting there, you know, you believe in this
Stop
guy.
That beeping sound. All right.
I'm at work. I'm at the school. You believe in the guy and believe in this. Like, you know, they're going to vet the Department of Education. They're going to vet Pell Grants, K-5 and Head Start. School program as far as nutrition, like you said, SNAP benefits. They're going to vet the HCA. It's going to be so much stuff they're going to do. Right now, he's trying to get his 4,000 people to come into office. And I forgot how the Miss Lady, you know who I'm talking about, at the other radio station, she was saying that they're trying to go through a loophole where they're not actually committed to it or appointed to it, but they can act in that position, you know. But I'm going to hang up and listen, man. And, you know, we just got to, I don't know what we're going to do. I was listening to Roland and some of the other people, Karen Hunter and stuff. We got to regroup, man, and we're going to have to come full force with it, you know. So I guess I'm going to vote in the midterms now, you know. So then I stuck my hand in the voting booth. I guess they're going to bite me now. All right, Sherwin, you take it easy.
Thank you, Dion. Appreciate your call. Dion actually said something profound. I don't want to say for once, but I think there's something that a lot of us missed. We've talked about Elon Musk a bunch of times, right? That he and Trump, he spent $130 million of his money to help elect Donald Trump. In fact, Elon Musk was even giving away $1 million random prizes to people that were registered voters and were supporting Donald Trump. Isn't that crazy? Elon Musk is going to get a lot out of this. Obviously, he's going to get big government contracts with the Department of Defense. He probably is going to have purview and control over the American space program. There's probably going to be some kind of contract with electric vehicles, going to be federal government vehicles are going to be battery powered by Teslas, postal vehicles, a whole bunch of opportunity for Elon Musk. But here's what Dion said that was profound. Where is Elon Musk from? Carrie, do you know where Elon Musk is from? No. He's from South Africa. Dion rather said, you know what, they might be doing this apartheid thing here in America. Bingo. Elon Musk, who is very much a white nationalist himself, very much, was forged in the fire of South African apartheid. And he's going to be Donald Trump's chief top advisor. I want y'all to think about that. Someone who is forged in the fire of South African apartheid, late 20th century Jim Crow in South Africa, is now advising Donald Trump. Remember, if they want to overturn people's rights and constitutional protections, they've already met the high bar, which was Roe versus Wade and the Dobbs decision. Any other group of minorities is easier to marginalize than women. And they got the big prize first, marginalizing women with the Dobbs decision. That was the toughest bar. They got that. Someone forged in the fire of apartheid is Donald Trump's #1 advisor, and you think that we're not going to suffer. But again, we're all in this together. We're all just going to get through it together. Let's talk to Rob. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Sherwin.
Morning.
Enjoying the show.
Thank you.
I'm hearing a lot of callers or people talk about Project, is it 2025? The only person who can, if it's even that power's in effect already, the only person who wields that kind of power is the President of the United States. So the current president, Joe Biden, if he's even president, he's the only one with Project 2025 powers. He's the only one who can implement. Only the president can implement. Trump doesn't take office until November. So if you're concerned about Project 2025, it's that administration that you should be concerned with it about.
Joe Biden has no interest in getting rid of the Department of Education. Correct, but Joe Biden is not using his power for an authoritarian purpose because Joe Biden believes in democracy. I'm trying to understand what you're getting at here.
I'm just trying to say that the concern, if it was me, I would be more concerned with the current administration because Trump hasn't even took off. He doesn't even have that kind of power. Secondly, Secondly,
why would just a point of clarity for me, because if I'm confused, a bunch of listeners are confused too. Why would Joe Biden have any interest in implementing an authoritarian fascist Project 2025 when that was Donald Trump? That's his platform. Why would Joe Biden want to implement that?
That's not his platform. It's the president of the United States of America's platform.
The Project 2025.
The only person who wields the power is the president.
I'm going to play, it's like a school. Remember Schoolhouse Rock? I got a Schoolhouse Rock version of Project 2025, and I feel like I need to play it. It was created by the Heritage Foundation. This is the same foundation that gave Donald Trump his nominations for the Supreme Court that overturned Roe versus Wade. Those are the people that created the Heritage Foundation. And, you know, the first person that Donald Trump appointed to be in his administration is one of the authors of Project 2025, and that is who is going to be Donald Trump's border czar. So Project 2025 has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It is Donald Trump's political agenda and his North Star of how he's going to implement an authoritarian regime in America. Joe Biden has nothing to do with it. Just like Barack Obama's policies have nothing to do with Donald Trump's policies.
My point is this.
Yes.
And I'll leave it alone.
Right.
I respect your side. Project 25, the only one who wields that power is the president of the United States of America. Trump isn't president. Secondly, here's the thing. The Department of Defense Directive 5240.01 gives the U.S. military the green light to use lethal force on American citizens. The first time in American history, quietly past, I've not heard one listener, not one person on The Truth even mention this. I would be more concerned with that directive than Project 2025.
The U.S. military has already been aggressive against American citizens before in the 60s. Wouldn't be the first time.
But they have not had the green light. They've not been able to use lethal force. You can read it.
No, Kent State.
Department of
those were the National Guard.
5240.01. The military now has the right to use lethal force on protesting American citizens.
Rob,
I'm not making this up.
I know you're not making it up.
This is a directive.
Rob, I'm trying to tell you, they've already had that power. During the Vietnam War protests at Kent State, I'm almost positive the National Guard shot and killed several college students because they were protesting in Vietnam.
They may have used it, but they weren't authorized by government. This wasn't a directive. This wasn't implemented. They did it, but they did it. It wasn't. I don't want to say law if it's law yet, but I know it's a directive.
All right.
And no one's talking about it. They're okay with that.
It doesn't matter.
But they're concerned with Project 25. All right. Lastly, I'm going to go.
Right.
I'm going to go after this.
Okay.
Elon Musk was a liberal and towards the left before his son Xavier was a victim of the executive order that Biden implemented for the LGBTQ. His son Xavier, you can Google this. You can look this up. His son Xavier was chemically castrated. And Elon Musk had no recourse. He couldn't sue anyone. He couldn't go after anyone. They hid behind that executive order.
Rob, if Elon Musk
he made it his life's work.
Relax for a second. Now, if Elon Musk's son was chemically castrated, then Elon Musk's son is a pedophile, and that was their punishment, probably in the state of California. There shouldn't be any recourse. That's punishment.
His son is a juvenile. His son is a child.
What did the son do to get his castrated chemically castrated?
They felt like he was a normal teenager, and they used his confusion to convince him he was a female trapped in a male's body. Meanwhile, because they didn't have to
get out of here with that. Elon Musk's son is transgender, and he disowned her or him. Okay, I got to take a break. This is insane. So we deserve Trump. Oh, this is going to be so fun for the next 4 years. Rick, when I take a break, when we come back, can we play that link? Play it on the YouTube. I want y'all to go to YouTube and go to 1017 The Truth. Am I going to be on the YouTube, or is it just going to be the Schoolhouse Rock cartoon about Project 2025? You don't need to do a split screen. Maybe you should do a split screen. Do you know how to do those things, Rick? I don't know what you know how to do. How about I take a break and you figure it out? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Greater Milwaukee Urban League is celebrating 105 years of legacy and impact. The 105th year milestone community engagement campaign is a mission-driven effort to support employment, education, advocacy, and entrepreneurship initiatives. Together, they can continue their impact and legacy. Join them in raising $1.5 million. Text 105 to 41444 to make a secure online donation today. Visit TMU.org for more information.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I want to stress the importance of a positive mindset. Everything begins as a thought before it ever becomes an action. So it's extremely important to purposely place yourself in positive spaces to help shape and nurture those thoughts. I know you're probably thinking, okay, Telly, let's be realistic. Look, I get it. You may work with people with bad energy, or you may even be related to people who are negative by nature. In this journey called life, there will be many things that come your way that's out of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. Understand this. You have the right to either tap in or tap out of whatever energy that may come your way. And that's how you can control and protect your positive spaces. The mind is where it all starts, and if your thoughts are centered around positivity, you'll see how things begin to transform. You'll see a noticeable difference between things happening for you versus things always happening to you. You'll begin to grow through situations as opposed to just going through tough situations. Make it a priority to surround yourself with positive people and create those positive spaces and begin to experience the fruits of what a positive mindset can produce. Trust me, it takes work to creating these spaces, and you have to be intentional about it. And I'm committed to putting in the work because I'm living proof that it's well worth the peace a positive mindset brings.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
All right, so you playing it? Go. There's a Schoolhouse Rock version of Project 2025, and we're going to play it on YouTube. It's a cartoon. Remember Schoolhouse Rock? Because that's how y'all learned about the government. Well, now we're going to teach you about the Project 2025. All right, Zach, hit it!
Most important document in our country's history. You mean the Constitution? Nope. The Declaration of Independence? Yes, again. The Federalist Papers? The Federalist, what? No. Even more important than whatever you just said. Now sit right here and I'll tell you all about me. I'm just a little paper for the ages, a way to set the government straight. A short 887 pages on how to make America great again by forcing through the president's agenda, removing all of those who disagree, replacing with our loyal party members, and reclaim our great country. In sum, give power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality and wrestle back normality from Marxist ideologies that infiltrate our policies like gender, race, or anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, turn the swearing in into a coronation. America's great salvation will arrive with Project 2025. Coronation? You mean like a king? No, it's called the unitary executive theory. Gives the next president unchecked power to do whatever they want. So, a king. Oh, let's not get hung up on semantics. Here's how it's gonna work. Once that we've started the transition, and no one's left to tell us to wait, we'll go through every policy position, get rid of all the language that we hate, like civil rights, diversity, and unions, and pronouns to mention but a few, defunding any liberal institutions that dare question what we do. I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court... Oh, the Supreme Court. That's a good one. Now, where was I? Abortion will be pretty much illegal, and reproductive rights will be gone. We'll get back to the biblical ideal that a family means a daddy and a mom with kids. Repeal the crazy climate regulations that get in the economy's way, with everyone reporting to their stations on Inauguration Day, when we give power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality, expelling abnormality like godless ideologies, protecting inequalities like gender, race, and anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, convert the melting pot into a Christian nation. The stage is set, and we'll be going live in 2025. You can't seriously say all that. Wanna bet? Come on, let's crack me open. Page 124. Make more nuclear weapons. Page 257. End the war on fossil fuels. Page 214. No more gun violence protection. Page 298. Or feeding hungry kids at our schools. Turn to page 5. Ban offensive books from the classroom. 563. Make it hard to register to vote. Page 449. Dismantle Medicare. Kill off the grizzly bear. Delete the term sexual orientation, gender equality, awareness of sensitivity, diversity, equity, inclusion, abortion, reproductive health, and reproductive rights out of every rule, regulation, contract, grant, and piece of federal legislation that exists. And that's an actual quote. And that, my friend, is only the beginning of how this makes America great. You'll be so overwhelmed with all the winning that you won't know what you've lost till it's too... Wait! This doesn't sound great at all. No? No, it sounds like a fucking nightmare. Well, I guess if you wanted to, there's still some things you can do to stop it. Like what? Well, if you vote to save democracy and stand against autocracy and tell your friends and family, enough with this insanity. We fought too long to part with these essential civil liberties like privacy and equity and bodily autonomy. And what defines a family? Equality and empathy. And we're not going back, and maybe we can stop this radical abomination. The future all depends on your participation. That's the way democracy will thrive. America was made for you and me, so let's defend our freedom and our dignity. Now raise your voice and let's keep hope alive in 2025. Now vote!
It's too late. Kamala lost. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
1017 The Truth and Associated Bank have teamed up for our Black-owned business give back. Each quarter, we'll be giving away $6,000 worth of free commercial advertising for 3 months to 5 Black businesses. To sign up for your business's chance to win $6,000 of commercial campaign marketing on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, visit blackbusinessgiveback.com. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure on the truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
Fathers, grandfathers, future fathers, and father figures. Bring your families and join Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit Saturday, November 16th at Milwaukee Academy of Science from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Don't miss this one-stop shop resource fair connecting Milwaukee families with job opportunities, child support help, health education and screenings, financial empowerment, legal assistance, and fatherly inspiration. The featured speaker is Pastor Kenneth Locke from Evolve Church. Bring your teens and learn about internships, jobs, and local mentoring opportunities. Register to be eligible to win gift cards, so don't wait. Gifts and prizes will also be available for families during the event. Pre-register today by visiting milwaukee.gov/fatherhood to join us as a participant and exhibitor, or to support the Fatherhood Summit as a volunteer. That is milwaukee.gov/fatherhood. See you Saturday, November 16th at the Milwaukee Fatherhood Summit, sponsored by the City of Milwaukee, Brewers Community Foundation, and Ascension, Wisconsin.
At Concordia University, Wisconsin, your future is more than a degree. It's an opportunity to lead and serve. With over 90 degrees, small class sizes, and a supportive Christian community, we prepare you to have a vocation with purpose, both in your career and in life. Whether you're a high schooler with big dreams or a full-time adult with a busy schedule, Concordia is here to help you reach your goals. Concordia University, Wisconsin. Live uncommon.
Sybaris Pool Suites. Romantic, luxurious, affordable. A place where romance touches paradise and the memories of a lifetime are made. Sybaris offers a variety of room styles, including the exquisite Chalet Suite, which spans 3 levels and features your own private swimming pool with cascading waterfall, soothing whirlpool tub, a cozy fireplace, and much more to make your stay unforgettable. They are located in Mequon, just north of Milwaukee. Take a virtual tour at sybaris.com.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
President-elect Donald Trump has announced that Tom Homan, his former acting U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director, will be in charge of the mass deportations that Trump pledged during his campaign. I am pleased to announce that former ICE Director and stalwart on border control Tom Homan will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders. The borders are, Trump wrote on Truth Social. Trump said Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin, in addition to overseeing the northern and southern border and all maritime and aviation security. I've known Tom for a long time, and there's nobody better at policing and controlling our borders, Trump said. Congratulations, Tom. I have no doubt you will do a fantastic job and a long-awaited for job. Trump has said Homan, a contributor to Project 2025, would have a role in his administration if he won re-election. Homan is one of dozens of former Trump administration officials who contributed to Project 2025, an almost 900-page document that detailed policy plans for the next Republican administration developed by the Conservative Heritage Foundation. He is putting the people that wrote the document in his cabinet. So Trump doesn't have to worry about implementing anything. Trump don't even need to read it. Trump repeatedly tried to distance himself from Project 2025 during his campaign. His own platform shares broad policy similarities with the document, including plans for mass deportations. In an interview on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures, Homan defended Trump's plan for mass deportations and said that ICE would move to implement them in a humane manner. It's going to be a well-targeted, planned operation conducted by the men of ICE. The men and women of ICE do this daily. They're good at it, he told host Maria Bartiromo. When we go out there, we're going to know who we're looking for. We'll most likely know where they're going to be, and it's going to be done in a humane manner. These people will be well taken care of. This sounds like the precursor to their execution. It will be a humane operation, but it's necessary. Mass deportation operation. Well, wait till you find out who we picked for the UN ambassador. President-elect Donald Trump has named Republican Representative Elise Stefanik as his pick for UN ambassador. I am honored to nominate Chairwoman Elise Stefanik to serve in my cabinet as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Elise is an incredibly strong, tough, smart, America First fighter, Trump said in a statement, confirming CNN's reporting on Sunday that Stefanik was indeed offered the role. The New York Congresswoman, the fourth-ranking House Republican, has been a strong ally of the president-elect and a major fundraiser for Republicans. The choice of Stefanik signals a more combative U.S. posture towards the United Nations. Stefanik has frequently criticized the international organization, particularly over its criticism of Israel, and last month said the Biden administration could consider a complete reassessment of U.S. funding for the UN if the Palestinian Authority continues to pursue and push to revoke Israel's UN membership. Stefanik, the House Republican Conference chair, has for years been one of Trump's staunchest supporters in Congress. Her aggressive performance during the 2019 impeachment hearings made her a, quote, Republican star, as Trump himself said at the time. And again, she stepped up for Trump after his 2020 election defeat when she objected to certifying President Joe Biden's win in the House and promoted Trump's false claims about election fraud. But she wasn't always Trump's biggest fan. As a New York Republican who was the youngest woman ever elected to Congress, at the time of her first win in 2014, voted against one of his signature legislative victories, a 2017 tax cut. Elise Stefanik was also reported as saying the people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th were patriots. Stefanik replaced then-Rep. Liz Cheney as GOP conference chair in May of 2021 after the Wyoming Republican called out Trump's election falsehoods. She is a member of the Armed Services Committee and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Trump said on Saturday in a social media post that he, quote, will not be inviting Nikki Haley back, who served as UN ambassador under his first administration. Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, later ran a bitter primary campaign against Trump before dropping out and finally endorsing him months later. All right, what is this one here? What's this? Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's the one. Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. All right. Barack Obama. 2009. Barack Obama removed 391,341 illegals. 2010, 381,738. 2011, Barack Obama, his administration, I should say, not him personally, removed 386,020 migrants. 2012, 416,324. 2013, 434,015. 2014, 407,075. 2015, 333,341 illegals were removed from America under the Obama administration. And in Barack Obama's last year as president, 344,354 migrants were removed from the country, bringing Obama's total to 3,094,208. Under George Bush, from 2001 to 2008, 2,012,539 migrants were removed. Obama removed 1,084,000 more migrants than Bush. What about Bill Clinton? Man, Bill Clinton, you ain't removed nobody. Bill, you getting soft. Bill only removed 869,646 migrants. Obama beat Bill Clinton by 2.5 million. In Donald Trump's first term, he did not remove or deport nearly as many migrants as Obama did during his first term. And we didn't even know about this. When you talk about Barack Obama and you bring him up and we discuss how great of a person he was and blah, 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 all that other stuff, we never talk about the millions. And he separated families too now. These weren't all, hey, everybody go back together. No, some people stayed here. Some people got sent back to Guatemala. Some people got sent back to Honduras. If the kids were born here, they stayed here. So there was some family separation going on there too. But what I'm saying, though, is the people that get deported, no one is going to be speaking up for them on their behalf. They're not going to have any media attention. Newspapers are not going to write about them. There's not going to be any stories on the local news, the national cable television shows. It is going to happen quietly, and we probably won't even know. That is how they're going to carry this out. Now, what they're telling the public about how they're going to execute these mass migrant deportations is one thing. How they actually do it is another. You guys saw some of the stuff even during the Obama administration. They had the detention centers because, a lot of federal detention centers they're not full anymore. Since a lot of states have legalized marijuana, the number of people that are being held in certain detention centers are empty because we privatize a lot of our prisons. Some of y'all know that. And so they're empty. And so when you have people, detainees in some of those facilities, the Corrections Corporation of America gets to charge the state and federal government to house those individuals. So this is a money-making endeavor as well. A lot of us are not in federal prison anymore. In fact, the numbers are probably lower now than they ever have been in history, or at least in the last probably 50 years. So because a lot of these facilities are empty, they're going to be used as and these are literally prisons. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these folks didn't break any laws other than trying to have a better life in America. And they're going to be housed in empty prisons because if Americans are not filling up those jail cells and filling up those detention centers, then the private corporations that use their money and their shareholders' money to build those facilities, they want to be able to make a profit. So when we round people up, and I say we because this is a policy that everybody in America knew about, and when you went and voted, this is something that you voted for if you voted for Donald Trump. When they round these folks up and put them in these facilities, they are going to charge us, the taxpayers, $20,000 per person because this is something that we wanted because under Joe Biden, the price of bacon was too high and eggs cost too much because of inflation. So I hope that the Donald Trump cheap bacon tastes real good. I hope it's crispy. I like my bacon crispy. Some of y'all like your bacon is kind of like soggy. I don't like a soggy bacon. I like a crispy bacon. So I hope the cheap bacon and gas prices being 4 cents cheaper per gallon, it's going to be worth it because we're going to have bacon and we're going to have polluted rivers, going to build more nuclear weapons. No, it's going to be good. We're going to get rid of the Department of Education, all of the consent decrees against police departments, even the consent decree against MPS because of how they punish black and brown students. All that stuff is going to be gone. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Jamming with Juice is up next.
The Milwaukee Panthers continue their road trip as they head to Virginia Wednesday night to take on the Longwood Lancers.
We have confirmed that. Back goes John Lovelace Jr. Transition dunk on a tomahawk